Okay, here I am. We're online. For some reason, this laptop no longer provides audio to my headphones. Very frustrating, very disappointing. Anyway, that's where we are. No music for me. No music for me. It's very sad. But you know, when I do manifestations, like when I'm calling in new technologies, the old technologies break, they stop working. Like, I was calling in a solar system, and then all the devices that I was using that are not compatible with my solar system stop working. Like toaster, kettle, electric, stovetop, all that stuff stopped working. Now I have a solar system. Now I'm busy calling in a laptop, computer, and naturally the old one stops working. Standard. Guess it's just how it works, eh? There must be a way to work around it so that old technology doesn't have to break or be sacrificed in order for new technology to come in. Science. That's the name of the card that was on the top of there. I saw it. But basically I just want an answer. No, just want to communicate with Heka. About magic. Just like talk to me about what's going on. Devil in reverse. Needing things to be a certain way. Trying to convince other people. Trying to defend my beliefs or my standpoint or my way of doing things. Huh. Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so what's coming up for me from this card is how I was recently entering a competition, and my device was not able to, it wasn't supported. Like, I had to use specific Instagram masks to create a reel as part of the competition, and my cell phone, my device was not compatible. It wasn't able to handle the masks that they wanted me to use. So I borrowed my partner's phone to do it. I just shot those little pieces and then sent them to myself so that I could build and publish the video on my device. It was incredibly difficult. It was like jumping through hoops of impossibility. Yeah, just incredibly difficult trying to use someone else's device or technology, because you know they want to use it as well, and though they want to help you, they also don't want to not have access to their own device. It was just really difficult, and this devil card in reverse is making me think of that. It's bringing that shit up for me. And it's also telling me that someone else was in here. I took a walk, I left to go and do some other things. I had the whole studio set up to stream, and then I left to go and do things. And this card is basically saying that the computer was booted up. Someone other than myself. That's why I'm not getting audio. that's basically it. I have nothing else to say about that card. I have a lot of other things to say, but I'm not going to say them out loud. Recently, YouTube was asking me like what they can do to improve my ability to reach an audience as a creator. What did I suggest? I suggested that they create more categories, more inclusive categories. Categories that are inclusive of neurodivergency, LGBTQ, and what was the other one? Just some more niche practices and offerings that are not currently catered for by YouTube as a platform. But I see what they've done is they have introduced YouTube handles. So I guess someone else made that suggestion. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Or maybe they already planned to put that in place and they're asking people. Yeah, I'm just doing my own thing, guys. I'm not pressuring myself to talk to people who is not talking to me. If you want a reading, let me know. If you have something to say, let me know. I'm just doing some basic admin and comms. Right, there was something I wanted to do here that I forgot about. I want to go and I'm going to do it, so excuse me for a sec. I'm going to go AFK. You can just leave it like open so that we don't have to scrape it all the time.
Alright,
Thanks.
I will next time. Just the toilet's very loud. You don't mind.
Yeah, this is much louder. Hey, Rayana Rizzo, welcome in. Thanks for communicating that you're here. Jesus, Hope you're doing well. By the way, I really like everything that I've seen you put forward in CMG. Yeah, I like your posts, they're very intriguing. I see that you share mostly from your own page, and I think that's cool, strategic. Yeah, I love how active you are there, and I love the things that you're putting forward. Just wanted to say that. Haven't really had a chance. I don't typically comment on things unless I want to bump them up to the top of the group. But I feel like you have enough posts, and you're posting regularly with enough engagement that I don't need to actually bump your posts. So for that reason we haven't communicated yet, but how's it? Nice to meet you. Thanks for popping into my stream. And I like what you're doing. But now I'm gonna just go AFK again for a moment. I'm gonna go fetch a candle. Because basically in my Discord server we do dream weaving. And so what we do is we show up regularly, creating things, doing things towards our own dreams and our goals, and then we share that with each other in the looming space. And recently someone has indicated that they're no longer able to participate in the looming space and they've left. And part of our practice is to, you know, when someone enters into the looming space and participates for the first time, we acknowledge them, we introduce ourselves and talk a bit about what we're manifesting in the space. And then when someone leaves, we just make like public and conscious acknowledgement of that. So I'm going to do that now. No stress. I'm going to do that now. See you in a sec. Shit. I didn't bring a pen. Okay, I have a pen now. There was one nearby. Okay, so basically I want to release Satyr 5-5 from the loom space. Double V, Satyr double V. Yeah. So when someone joins in the loom space, we call them a spark. The offerings they provide, the creative things that they add into the loom space that they share with us, that's the fire. That's like the flame, the energy that heats the water, that keeps the lights on, you know? Okay, so Satyr V has left the space. Satyr double V has left the space. It's a tiny piece of candle, but you know, it will work. Hey Champagne. Welcome in. Champagne C. How are you doing? As I was saying, really small piece of candle, but it will work. Because it's only a symbolic gesture that we're doing. He's already left the space. So this flame is him, basically. Just acknowledging that. This flame represents the spark, the offerings of Satyr VV, Satyr double V. We're just going to leave it there to burn it out because, yeah, we're acknowledging that we are allowing Satyr V to be released from the space. We're allowing his flame to burn out. We're not going to be seeing his offerings again until, you know, he decides to join and visit us again some other time. Drinking blue Powerade? Fucking cool. The blue Powerade is the best of all the Powerades. Champagne says, I'm doing okay, it's been a while, glad to see you. Thank you, it's nice to see you on the channel again. If you would like to get a reading, just let me know and I'll do a reading for you. I don't do the 3-card thing anymore, not for free anyway. I used to, as you know, as you remember. Now I do 1 card for free, providing the 3 cards only for those who tip, and I give priority to my premium members, my VIP members. So, yeah, you gotta join the Discord server for that. You can type exclamation mark VIP if you want to find out more about that. Okay, cool. So you want the 1 card guidance? Nice. And yeah, I totally agree with you, Rihanna. The blue one is and always has been and probably always will be the best one. Do you have a question, Champagne? It's not required, but if you have one, please please go ahead and ask it. Anything that you need to know. Cool. We've got a Queen of Discs here. So that card, the very first thing that comes up for me is a commendation. It's like recognition for you, saying, hey, I see you. You work well with other people. You're working on your teamwork game, and it's paying off. You're flexible. You're willing to compromise, and you also lend your creative strengths to other people really well, and you allow other people's creativity to influence you and better your life. So it's kind of recognition, just saying well done on that. What else do I see in this card? The Princess energy is like establishing identity. It's like about establishing identity. It comes right after rebirth, you know, when you let an old way of doing things die and you take up a new task. You start getting good at something new, something creative. And then that new thing that you've taken up, so like if say I take up guitar and then like a year after I've started playing guitar I'm relatively decent, and now my whole identity is based within the ability to play guitar. I'm now a guitarist, I'm now a musician, an artist. So that's kind of the energy that we get from Princess of Discs. It's taking up something new and creative, getting involved in something new, and that becoming a cornerstone for the identity. Discs is specifically to do with your physical, intimate, sexual relationships, as well as things like finance, home security. So it's like a new period of your life has opened up alongside a partner, alongside someone close to you, dear to you, and you are both now doing something together in some kind of partnership, and that is a core foundation stone for your identity. You guys are doing well in your ability to compromise for one another and be flexible with one another. And I guess the card is just basically saying to you, well done, you're making good progress, these are healthy steps that you're taking for yourself. What advice does it have for you? I guess the advice it has for you is that at some point you're still going to meet your limitation. So going back to that example of the guitar, being a guitarist and a musician might now be a core part of my identity, but there are still limitations on that. I'm not actually that good of a guitarist yet. I've only been playing it for so many years, you know. There are guitarists who are better. There are certain jobs or gigs that another artist could take that I couldn't take because of the limitations on how good I am. So it's saying that as well as you're doing really well. As good as you're doing, there are still going to be things that you can't do or things that you're not good enough at yet. And then in those situations, just accept that, you know, just accept that you're doing the best that you can. Focus on taking little steps. Don't worry about doing more than you're capable of just yet. And hey, that's your reading. Welcome in, David Smith. Hey, how you doing? And thank you for joining us today. You're welcome, Champagne, and thank you. So what I'm doing here with this candle, of course, Rihanna, of course I'll draw cards for you. Thanks for letting me know that you're interested in receiving a reading. But as I was saying, what I'm doing with that candle, it's a symbolic representation of releasing someone from the loom space. David Smith, you know about the loom space that we got on Discord. So Satyr Double V recently left the space. He made an announcement that he wouldn't be able to participate anymore. So his offerings were a flame. It's like a spark, and we're symbolically acknowledging that spark is burning low and it's going to burn out. We're releasing it. So reading for Rihanna, one card. And David Smith, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How am I doing this evening? So this day has been cool. Towards this evening, there was some interference, I guess. When I asked Heka about it, I got the Devil card in reverse in this. That's the card that came up. Interesting. It was just like adversity. As I was getting ready for stream, there was all this strange interferences, technical, emotional, verbal, all kinds of interferences. But otherwise I'm good. How are you? You said you're doing good. Cool. So here is a card for Rihanna Rizzo. 5 of discs here. Number 5, it dives deeper into that idea of limitations on the paradigm. Like earlier with the Princess of Discs, I was talking about eventually reaching limitations. So 5 is all about limitations. It's about like reaching your maximum potential based on your current paradigm. And that's basically what this card is saying to you, Rihanna, is that you've reached the limits of your paradigm. Now that's not a bad thing, you know. Each of us, we are born, we are raised, we are taught how the world works and what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, what we are permitted to believe, what we're not permitted to believe. These things are passed on to us by our parents and our influences as we grow up. And this card is basically just saying that within that paradigm that you have been given, or that has been imparted to you by your elders, you have reached its limits. You've reached the maximum level of development that you're going to be able to reach within that paradigm. Welcome in, Mr. Subin. So we can overcome those limitations by interacting with new people, by coming into contact with new people, like me, for example. You coming into contact with me, or you get into a relationship or into a business partnership, and then their beliefs, their paradigms, their way of doing things will start to influence you and start to change the way your worldview. It starts to influence your worldview, opens up new realms of possibility, and you do the same for them. And so as a result, the 2 5s evolve past each other into 6, Lover's card. Yeah, so let's get back to number 5. You have reached the maximum level of development that you can reach within your current paradigm. You want to achieve a certain level of financial security. You want to achieve a certain level of physical health and fitness. With your worldview and your understanding of yourself and the universe, you have reached the maximum level of health and financial stability that you're going to be able to reach. You need to branch out into new understandings, new ideas, new partnerships, new people, in order to find conflicting worldviews and paradigms that will challenge yours so that you can overcome your limitations. And that is basically what I get from this card for you. You're about to transcend through the fabric of what you believe to be possible. You're about to transcend the limits of what you've believed to be possible most of your life. That's what that card is saying. And it's going to happen through partnership and relationship. That evolution is going to take place as a result of forming new partnerships and new relationships. I hope that's valuable for you. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, so Mr. Subin is up next. You're welcome. Most welcome. I've got a Queen of Wands in reverse for you there, Mr. Subin. Okay, Queen of Wands energy. What are we looking at with the Queen of Wands energy? Queen of Wands energy in reverse is like pushing people away. Self-doubt. Pushing people away through self-doubt. Okay, so we've been working for a while with the cards and divination, Mr. Subin. So it's like you believe in something, right? You believe in what you're capable of. and you want to do it, you want to follow after it, you want to dive straight in and do what you believe you're capable of. But you also simultaneously doubt that it's possible. You doubt that you have this capacity. For whatever reason, there's self-doubt. Maybe people have told you you're not good enough, maybe you've tried before and failed, but there's doubt of whether or not you are capable. And as a result of this doubt, when you're telling other people about what you plan to do, or what you want to do, what you desire to do, what you intend to do, then you have a tendency to try and convince them that it's possible for you, that you are capable. And you don't have to convince them. The only person who needs to be convinced, the only person whose doubt is relevant, is your own. So what happens when you try and convince those people around you is you end up making them feel like they actually don't want to be in your company, because they feel like you put pressure on them, like you come onto them aggressively with lots of fire, and it makes them feel a bit intimidated, maybe even afraid or nervous. So what's happening is you're inadvertently or indirectly creating distance between you and the people who could potentially be assisting you in your journey, or could potentially be supporting you. So yeah, I feel like the core message from this card is that you need to, well, not you need to, but don't doubt yourself so much, trust in yourself. The only person who needs to be convinced that you are capable of what you desire is yourself, no one else. And trying to convince other people that you are capable will only push them away. That's the core message of the Queen of Wands for you. You're welcome, Mr. Subin, and thank you. So I know I'm streaming really seldomly these days, guys, but basically, like, I do this as a form of marketing. Like these live streams, it's a form of marketing. Whether I'm doing art or tarot, it's like I'm marketing my mystic offerings and services, or I'm marketing my artistic offerings and services. And so if I get commissioned to do an art piece, or if I get commissioned to do some kind of mystic service, healing, divination, or whatever, I prioritize that over doing the live stream. And so last week Saturday, Sunday, I promised to do a stream on Monday, and then I didn't. On Monday I prioritized someone who was buying some Reiki healing sessions. And then I was like, we'll try again on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I prioritized a client who was buying water scrying services. So yeah, I put the stream on hold and I do the private service. And that's just unfortunately how it has to go. For me, I feel like it's really fortunate. It means that I'm actually growing, I'm actually making money through my channels and through the services that I offer. For you guys who enjoy my company and enjoy watching my streams, it's a bit unfortunate, but for me as the host, it's quite fortunate. Because if I'm not here streaming, I'm doing something else that's making money. So my plan is to do an art stream tomorrow, to continue working on my Ace of Discs, maybe even finish it tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. At the moment I have no bookings No private bookings, not until Wednesday. And it's also really interesting, like the more that I work on the Ace of Discs, the more money seems to come in, like the more abundance there is available. It's almost like the card, the Ace of Discs, is like a manifestation spell. Every time that I work on it, immediately thereafter I get a booking or something happens. Someone sends a tip, I don't know, something happens that brings in financial gain and abundance. And I felt like it's pretty cool. As I went through each of the... Oh, hey, what's that? Kitty Liddy 90, welcome in. Welcome in. For a moment I thought you were someone else who's already following the channel. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Welcome in. How are you? I'm good, thanks. Thanks for asking. Like, this day went pretty well. It's been a good day for me. When I was setting up to stream, there were some strange interferences, technical difficulties, emotional, verbal, all kinds of interferences came up, but we're here. So, yeah, things are going well. Yeah, how about you? How are you doing? What was I talking about earlier before I heard the follow notification? I was talking about the aces. So as I drew the Ace of Swords, like I felt I could only draw it because I had learned the lesson of the card. And the lesson of that card is to communicate purpose. Like, communicate will and purpose. So if I have a desire, my will, I have to allow my will to follow after that desire to see it accomplished. And when my will is actively taking action towards my desire, that is purpose when they work together. So communicating that purpose to people so that I don't end up with double bookings or interferences. So if I take up new purpose for myself and no one around me knows about it, they're going to expect me, my routine and my life to look the way it used to. They might take liberties or make expectations that then get let down because there's been no communication of the changes I'm implementing. So that was like the lesson of the Ace of Swords for me. And I only had the inspiration to draw the card once I had learned that lesson. And the lesson of the Ace of Cups was about communicating my emotions with grace, regardless of what I'm feeling. Even if people are deliberately trying to trigger me or get a reaction, I still choose to say and do constructive things and act gracefully with my emotions, no matter how fiery or tumultuous or stormy they might actually be. And I had the inspiration to draw the card once I had learned and implemented that lesson. And then the Ace of Discs, that one, the lesson of that card for me felt like communicating my value. So if I have something to offer the world, and the world is in need of the things that I offer. I am not an educated engineer, but like electrical engineering is something I love to do, fiddling with electronics and installing the solar system, and building electronic devices like inverters and that sort of thing is something I really enjoy doing. So there are people who could benefit from that. And I'm also a mystic. I can interpret dreams. and various other things. So there are people who are in need of such services, but if they are not aware that I have this value to give, they cannot come and seek it. They cannot make an exchange with me for my value if they don't even know I have it here. So then the Ace of Discs is all about communicating my value, putting it out there, making people aware that I have offerings to give, that I have services to provide, that I have value to exchange for other forms of value. So now I'm busy drawing that Ace of Discs. For a long time I had that page, I was like, I'm drawing the Ace of Discs, and I didn't put a single mark on the page because I hadn't yet implemented the lesson. Only now that I've implemented the lesson am I actually able to stop procrastinating the art piece. So the bottom line, I guess, is that I'm just, for me it's like a journey. It's been a journey of magic. Like each card that I draw is also a spell. It represents a whole shift of frequency, whole change in the way that I do things, and the way that I express myself is represented by each card that I draw. And for that reason, the card acts as a spell. It acts as a manifestation spell. Like, for example, the very first card that I drew was an androgynous being standing between an altar and a desk. And there's laptops and streaming equipment and cell phones and technology on the desk. And on the altar there's, you know, your standard mystical things like incense and crystals. And now today, here I am, laptop, cell phone, the desk doubles as an altar. It's like the card, what I drew, attracted that frequency or that lifestyle into my reality, into my present. So it has been with each one. I don't have them here right now to show you guys. They're all in the living room on top of, there's like a shelf in the living room, and I put it all on top of the shelf, all my in progress and completed art pieces. On the note of engineering and the value that I have to give and provide, and electrical engineering and whatever, so the next project, so I just installed solar system. The next project that I want to tackle is building a water heating system, a wood burning water heating system that doubles as an electricity generator, a steam powered electricity generator, backup power supply basically. For the days when there's not enough light to keep my batteries full, then I can build a fire, heat the water, take a nice warm shower and charge my batteries at the same time. I drew a little diagram that I posted on Facebook and on Discord of what I'm gonna do. What it basically, I'm gonna put a copper drum just over my head level when I'm standing up straight. Copper drum, about, I don't know, about a 500 liter, no, 250 liter copper drum on like brick stands. The fire will be at like waist height. The reason I need it to be so high is so that the water can be gravity fed, that I'll be able to take a shower underneath it. Taking a car alternator, using it as a turbine, so that when the water is at its, when the water starts to boil, the steam will create enough pressure to turn the turbine and generate an AC current, an alternating current, which will charge my batteries. The biggest challenge in this design will be the turbine itself, designing the turbine. It's like a disc with cups on it, and I have to learn how to weld. Unless I'm lucky and someone just gives me an old turbine. That would also work. But I've got a couple of alternators that are laying around. And I've got the copper bricks. I need some concrete, some cement, so I can lay the bricks and actually build it. And I need to figure out how I'm going to design that turbine. The rest of it I have. That's my next project. Just got an email. Oh no, it's an old email. I don't know why it's moved on to the top of my feed. It's an old stream summary. I thought it meant that I'd been disconnected. Hey, Alfeatherston, welcome. It's been a while, and of course I can pull a card and read it for you. I remember you used to come and join my streams back when I was still streaming on my private account, on my personal account. Princess of Swords. So you can still ask a question at this point if you had one in mind, otherwise I can just go ahead and interpret it intuitively. Princess of Swords. So Princess energy is co-creative, collaborative energy. Anything with relationship, okay, interesting. Yeah, so the Princess energy is all about collaborations, co-creations, working together with other people, partnership, relationship. It's all to do with collaboration, you know, doing things together with others, partnership. Welcome in, Rusty the Human. Swords is to do with the intellectual realm, the mind. Education. So what I'm getting from this card is that studies or research topics or a course that you're doing or whatever, or that your partner is doing, it is creating disharmony within your relationship. Whether you're in a romantic relationship or if it's talking about your relationship with your parents, I'm not sure, but it's saying that there's an educational topic. There's like, you know, when you're studying something, there's a whole world that comes with that study, like having to get up and go to classes, and your lecturer or teacher will give you assignments, and that dictates your life. You know, everything else starts to become secondary. So the Princess energy is all about being flexible with people that you live with, relationships, friends, family, being flexible. They have things that they need to do, they have priorities. We compromise from one another in order to make the relationships work. But when it comes to the education, when it comes to study and research and school, there's little room for compromise there. So that's what I'm feeling here with this card, is that there's someone, or in the relationships that you have, and it's not just a romantic relationship. If you are in a romantic relationship, it's talking about that, but it's talking about all of your relationships in general. It's saying that all of your relationships are feeling the toll. They're feeling the toll of your study schedule, of your learning schedule. It's taking up a lot of your time. It's putting a lot of strain on all of your relationships. That's what I get from this. So, what advice do I get from this card? The advice that I get from this card is that there are many things that you can do to create a streamlined effect, like communications. That's an important one. If you don't communicate with your partner or your parents or your friends what is expected of you when you're going to school. So here's a scenario. You are a university student and you have a partner. I don't know if this is you, but here's your scenario. You're a university student, you're in a relationship, and you go to school and you get given an assignment and you get told that in a week's time you're going to be expected to be on campus on a day that you wouldn't usually be on campus for whatever kind of event that they're hosting on that day. And you neglect to communicate that you have this assignment to your partner, and you neglect to communicate that you have this appointment or booking on this specific day the week after. And then when that time comes, your partner is expecting you to stay at home and Netflix and chill, and then you're like, oh, actually I have to go and do this. Suddenly he feels betrayed, suddenly he feels neglected, suddenly he feels like he's not a priority in your life. That's the energy of this Princess of Swords. That's what it's saying. That's the kind of thing that's happening here. You're giving priority and time to education, to learning, and your relationships are taking second place, and they are taking strain because of that. And there are things that you can do, particularly communication, that could smooth things up a little bit, that could help turn this card the right way around. And Rusty the Human says, I felt like coming back to talk again. Maybe a card. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Oh, welcome. From your first Twitch spellcasting. Welcome back, tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweety. Rusty the Human, just calling you Rusty is so much easier than Tweety. Tweet, tweety. But welcome back. It's been a while. Glad to see you here again. And yeah, thanks for popping in. I stream a lot less frequently these days. And you're welcome, Al Featherston. Thank you for joining. And yeah, I'm sure that I'll be seeing you again since I'm back on Facebook. Please follow my new page. I know you used to follow me as an individual account, but yeah, follow my page because I stream on my page nowadays. And Rusty the Human wants a card. Fantastic. And wants to talk. Please do. Please talk to me, because I feel like I spend most of my time talking to myself, talking to the ether, like I'm giving a lecture. Oh yeah, about why I don't stream so often anymore. Because I get private bookings. Like, people will buy private services, divination, Reiki, spellcasting. And so I'll prioritize them. Like, I know for certain if I show up to a booking, I'll get paid. I don't know for certain if I show up to a stream if I'll make any money. So I prioritize private bookings. I prioritize anything that is a sure monetary income. That's going to surely be monetary income. The stream, it takes second place if I've got bookings, or if I've got errands to run, or if I've got customers who want to buy something, you know, then that takes my priority. But welcome in Maya Barnes, and of course you can get a reading. First I'm going to read for Rusty the Human, and then I'll read for you. Number 3 in reverse. 3 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so I have something else I want to just mention before I dive into your card, Rusty. And that's that I don't do the spellcasting streams publicly anymore. I do that only for VIP members. So I launched a VIP membership program. It's a $25 program, but I have started recording classes, giving lessons in... I remember you used to pop in when I used to give lessons on the tarot, so lessons in divination and tarot, and private group rituals, and private spellcasting and manifestation rites, and that kind of thing now I reserve for premium members. and I host those things in private streams on Discord. Welcome in Anu Chaudhary. Okay, so now diving into your card here. 3 of Cups in reverse. This is for Rusty the Human. So this card is talking about a lack of self-awareness regarding your own emotional state of affairs, your own emotional triggers, your own emotional state of being. 3 is a number all about awareness, self-awareness. And Cups is about creativity and emotional expression. So I feel like this card is just saying to you, you're not really fully appreciating how much creative value you have to give. And you're not fully appreciating how your emotional state of being affects your life and how it affects the people in your life. Like if you're having a bad day, that significantly impacts everybody that you talk to when you're having a bad day. If you get triggered in a conversation, your whole demeanor will change, and that will directly impact the person you're talking to, the person who has triggered you, and the other people you interact with for the rest of your day. And this card is just trying to say to you that you're not fully grasping the extent of your influence, the extent of your creative influence. Like if you do something creative, or you sing, or you draw, or whatever, if you do something creative, you're not truly appreciating the impact that your creativity has. And when you have positive, strong emotions, you're not appreciating the full impact of how those emotions affect people. And similarly, when you're having negative emotional experience, you're not fully appreciating the effect that that's having on your life and the people around you. You're very much aware of how other people are impacting you. You're very much aware of how someone else's art or someone else's magic or someone else's emotion is impacting you. Not so much aware of how your state of being is impacting others. And this card wants you to turn that around, to bring as much awareness to yourself as you give to the other. And so next up is Maya Barnes, and then after Maya Barnes is Anu Chaudhary. And then guys, just want to let you know what's going on with this candle here. So in my Discord server, we have a loom space where we dream weave. I have things that I want to accomplish in my life, and things I want to manifest, dreams I want to realize. And so I do things, you know, like I host the stream, or I plant vegetables in my garden, or I build a solar system. And as I do these creative things, I take little snippets of it, I make little reflections, and I share it in the loom space. And the other people who are in the loom space do the same thing with their dreams, and they do something and they share a little piece of it. And basically what we're doing here is if I encounter a problem, the other people in the loom space can support me and help me overcome my problem, and vice versa. Dream weaving. And so when someone joins the space and participates for the first time, then we acknowledge, we introduce, and when someone leaves, then we do a little symbolic gesture to represent their leaving. Because like if I share videos into the loom space, that is my flame, that's my fire, that keeps my food warm, and that's what keeps my lights on. So the flame represents the offerings that a person is leaving in a loom space. So this is Sato Double V, who used to give us reflections and little bits of advice. He was an actual weaver, like he would make cloth out of threads. And now he has recently announced that he won't be able to participate in the loom anymore. So this candle here represents his flame, and we're acknowledging that it's going to burn out now. And I'm going to come and cut, when I lit this candle at the beginning of the video, I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to share it in the loom space. So, yeah, just to keep things rolling, keep the energy going. Let people see that there's still stuff happening, you know? That's the vibe. Okay, so Maya Barn wants to know, what are my soul's gifts? The Knight of Discs in reverse. That's a very interesting card to answer that question that you just gave me. This card, what it's saying to me primarily is that your gifts are very much physical. They're very much in the physical world. Things that you can create with your hands. Your ability to manifest wealth, to start businesses, or to make a house feel homely and warm and welcoming. Your gifts are very much in the physical world. Like for someone else, their gifts might be in the spiritual world or the psychological world or whatever. This card is saying to me that your gifts are very much in the physical world. But it's not like it's an actual gift, you know? I wasn't born with this miraculous ability to interpret dreams. Now, that's something that I dedicated time and energy to develop. So whatever your strengths are, I think strength is a better word than gifts. This card is saying that your strengths reside in the physical world, and that's because you've spent a lot of time developing your physical strengths. That doesn't mean that you can't develop psychic abilities. You can. If you dedicate time and energy to developing that and learning about it and practicing it, you will develop in those realms. But currently, your strengths are within the physical world. Your ability to show up on time and be punctual and make your home feel warmly. Make sure you bring in enough money. Make sure you can cook good, healthy meals. Those are the ways that places that your strength resides. Maybe if you make necklaces, or you make jewelry, or maybe you are a smith, I don't know. Maybe you're a mechanic, maybe you're an engineer, I don't know. But this card is basically saying that your strengths reside in your physical abilities. Maybe you're a gymnast. The card upside down is kind of indicating to me that you wish your strength was somewhere else. You wish you had strength in some other category of your life. Kind of overlooking how valuable the skills and strength that you currently have actually are. Kind of overlooking it. It's like the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. I wish that I had psychic abilities like that guy on the other side of the fence, forgetting about all of my physical talents and physical gifts that I have. That's the energy that I'm getting from this Knight of Discs in reverse here. Welcome in Nanda Santosa. My boyfriend will continue to work in Portugal? Question. Thank you. Okay, so Nada, there's a queue. We've got Anu Chaudhary, who's next up for reading. And then after Chaudhary will be you, Nanda. And yeah, just finished reading for Maya Barnes. Maya Barnes says, haha, that's true. It's true for a lot of us. We all have FOMO, you know, where we look at what someone else is doing and we have a fear of missing out. We fear that what they have is better than what we have. It's something that all of us struggle with, unfortunately. Okay, so Anu Chaudhary, are you still here? Chaudhary, Anu Chaudhary, are you here? I'm going to take that as a no. So Nanda Santosa, I will read for you then. You're welcome, Maya. So I've got a 3 of Swords for Nanda Santosa. What is this? How does this answer that question? Will my boyfriend continue to work in Portugal? So I feel like this card says no. The card is literally called Sorrow. Let's see. So 3 is about self-awareness and Swords is about education. So he's busy realizing that what he wants to do with his life, it requires that he become educated. Like, he needs to go and study a certain topic in order to have the job that he really desires. The job that he's currently working in Portugal, it works for him, it gives him money, but it's not really what he wants from his life. And he's realizing that. He's realizing that he actually wants something else, and in order to pursue his dreams, he's going to need to study. So he's going to leave Portugal, and he's going to go and study for whatever it is that he wants to learn. He's going to go and study somewhere. So you're asking me, will he continue to work in Portugal? For a little while, yes, but no. Ultimately, in the end, he's going to give up his job in Portugal in order to go and study. That's what I get from that card. So Nanda Santosa, hopefully that's, yeah, I feel like it's not what you wanted to hear, but I feel like you are still appreciative for the insight. So I'd like to encourage you to like and follow, like this video and follow my page, and yeah, then hopefully I'll see you soon. By the way, guys, if you're watching me on Twitch or if you're watching me on Facebook, there's more on YouTube. There's more stuff happening on YouTube. Like, I upload videos on YouTube, and I upload shorts, little short videos on YouTube. There's just more content to be found on YouTube, just in case you're interested. And also, you know, on YouTube, the stuff doesn't disappear. On Twitch, my VODs disappear, so you can only see like 3 VODs. On YouTube there's a lot more, like there's art, there's music, there's engineering. There's just a lot more on YouTube than on the other platforms. When I'm finished streaming here, I'm going to go and bypass the rectifier on my laptop charger. So I'll explain it a bit more. Like, you know there's that block on a laptop charger. There's a little block. Okay, so a laptop has a battery, and a battery runs off of a 20 volt DC energy. It runs off a direct current. That's what DC stands for. All batteries are direct current. The power that comes from our wall sockets is like 110 to 250 volts, and that's not direct current, that's alternating current, AC. So that little box on a laptop charger, the 220 volt AC alternating current goes in there and is converted into a 20 volt DC current to charge the battery of the laptop. Now I have a battery bank in the attic that is a 24 volt battery bank, so I don't need that rectifier to charge my laptop. I can go directly from the big battery to the laptop battery, but that little rectifier on the laptop charger doesn't allow it. It's expecting a 220 volt current and it's not getting that, so it doesn't work. So what I have to do is I have to cut it out and then connect the wires directly, bypass that rectifier, and that's what I'm going to do. So unfortunately, that's how it works for most things. Like my Wi-Fi modem was not compatible with my solar system because that little power supply that you plug into the wall is looking for 220 volts. It won't let any energy go into the modem unless it has 220 volts, even though the modem only needs 12. So I had to cut off the power supply, bypass it, so that I can plug it directly onto my battery. And then the modem works. And the laptops are the same, cell phones are the same. Cell phone only needs 5 volts, but it won't charge because the wall plug is expecting 250 volts. If it doesn't get at least 110, it doesn't let any energy go through. So I have to bypass it. Bypass it and then downstep it. Hey, Rusty the human, if you're still watching the stream, please join the Discord server. You can type !Discord to get a link. Yeah, join the Discord server. You can chat with me anytime. You can dream me with me. In fact, everyone is watching. Please join the Discord server. That's where it's happening. That's where the shit happens. On Discord. !Discord or !VIP will get you a link to the Discord. It's free to join. There are premium sections in the Discord server, but that's optional. You don't have to. You can go into the public part of the server. What do I call it? The open court. I've got the open court, the administrative court, and house key, my private section. So the open court is available to anyone. It's publicly available. We've got a little library, we've got a little museum of arts, and we've got a little chat room in the public section. That's text chat and voice chat, just by the way. Optional. Entirely optional. There's also things like inquiries. You can find out about the services I provide and what's going on, what we're developing. There's a little reviews section where you can go and check out reviews I've gotten from people who have bought my services in the past. And there's the Loom, which is where we share our creative projects and support one another's dreams. Then we've got a classroom where classes are held, an auditorium, and we've got a study hall where resources are posted and shared, a private library where we upload our own personal documents and notes and stuff, our own personal publications, but that's members only stuff, the lab, the study hall, the auditorium, and the private publications library, that's all for premium VIP members. So 31st of October is just around the corner. For the Northern Hemisphere, that is Samhain, that's Halloween. Winter's Descent, when the veil is thinnest. But here in the Southern Hemisphere it is Beltane. It's the opposite. It's like the rise, the ascent into summer. It's a fertility celebration. Last year, Beltane, I hosted like a midnight ceremony from like 12 a.m. on the 31st, on the morning of the 31st, until like 7 a.m. There's a whole night, streamed the whole night, did a DMT ceremony. Shh, nobody knows that I was on DMT when I was hosting that stream. Now you do, but back then I kept it to myself. Then did a little fire ceremony, did some music, did some spell work, some divination, all live. It was quite a commitment, and I don't know if I'm going to go through the whole process again. I will probably do it privately. I'll probably host it in the members only section of my Discord server. I'll probably create a new channel. Now we've got an auditorium, and a study hall, and a laboratory. So I'll probably create a new channel that's called Group Ceremony or something, or Sabbats, and I'll host my Beltane ceremony there. I feel like I cannot be cute because I'm not, but like I don't know why, but I like to. You like to be cute even though you believe you can't be cute. I feel like I cannot be with anybody because of that. Interesting. Shame. Sorry to hear that. So we all have things that we believe that are not true. Believing about ourselves and the environment. Like you're saying you like to be cute but you believe you're not. Because you're not, you believe that wholeheartedly that you're not cute even though you try to be. That's a belief. Like, let me think. Recently the tarot scolded me when I was doing a reading. It like called me out on my own self-limitations. I was busy setting up the solar system, and the solar panel was in place and the battery was in place and everything was in place, but my inverter stopped working. So I wasn't using the solar system at all because I believed that I needed this inverter in order to run the appliances in my house. And then the tarot was like, you fucking Nimrod, that's a self-limiting belief, because you know that your computers and your cell phones and your modem, all these things are DC appliances and they all just require a basic bypass to work. And I know this consciously, but I'm still putting this limitation on myself that I can't use the solar system until the inverter is repaired. And the tarot cards called me out on that, and immediately I started making solutions. Immediately I connected the modem to the solar system without the inverter so that the internet would be on. Immediately I started putting cell phone chargers onto USB, connecting the USB ports to the solar system and using them. And now I'm going to bypass the rectifier in my laptop charger so that that can continue to work. And the lights in the house, I recently replaced them with 12 volt lights. So I've completely bypassed the need for an inverter. And for a long time I didn't do that bypass. I didn't take that step because of things that I was believing. Like, I was believing it wasn't possible. I was believing it needed to happen a certain way or needed to look a certain way before I could succeed. And so I'm bringing that up now because you say you feel like you cannot be cute because you're not. That's a belief. And it doesn't have to be true. It's only true as long as you believe it. Now, it's one thing to acknowledge that a belief is holding me back, and it's another thing to actually overcome it. But making myself aware or acknowledging, like when I read it in the tarot cards, that it was my own paradigm that was limiting me, I didn't want to hear that. I wanted to hear that it was the environment's fault and that I needed to do nothing but wait until I got my refund on my inverter and then buy a new one. That's what I wanted to hear, but that's not what I heard. It was only when I was like, okay, I acknowledge that this is true. There are things that I can do to work around the inverter problem. only once I acknowledged that did I open up. Like, I didn't immediately start taking action to fix it. The acknowledgement was like the key. It was just been like, yes, okay, I see my own role to play here. That was the key. I acknowledge that it's my beliefs that are holding me back. I acknowledge it's my paradigm that places this limitation. This limitation is not a universal limit. It's only there because I believe it needs to be this way. And unfortunately, that's the truth for most of us. You know, most of us, we hold ourselves back. Most of us, we prevent ourselves from doing the things that we want to do or being who we actually are because we don't believe in it. We believe in something else. None of it is true, none of it is false, only what you believe is true. So if you believe you're not cute, then you're not going to be cute. If you believe you can't have a relationship, then you're not going to have a relationship. Whether or not you're ugly or fat or skinny or anorexic, none of that is actually relevant. It's about what you believe is possible. Okay, so Rusty, I want to just challenge you with this idea. Give yourself permission to be cute, even if you don't believe it. Just say to yourself, you have permission to be cute. Try it out. See if it shifts anything for you, shifts the way you feel. You feel like you can't have a relationship? Give yourself permission. Even if you don't believe it's going to happen, just give yourself permission. Be like, you have permission to date and get yourself into a relationship. See if that shifts anything. So like, at the beginning of September, I did some scrying. I hosted a little manifestation ceremony, privately, naturally, and I did a little bit of scrying. What I wanted to manifest and dive into was expanding my abilities as a psychic, as a mystic. I wanted to evolve past my limitations. I wanted to do things that, like when I first got into magic and mysticism, I had no idea what was possible. Like the things I do now, I didn't believe were possible then. So now at this point I was like, I want to break through another barrier. Tomorrow I want to look back and be like, hey, in 2022 I didn't believe this was possible and now I'm here. So I wanted to set that in motion. I made that my intention for the ceremony, for the manifestation ceremony. I asked that question when I did the scrying. What I saw in the scrying ball, not so much relevant. I'm not going to dive too much into that right now, but I enrolled in a little psychic development course by someone who is quite local, another South African mystic. And basically the whole course revolved around just affirming to myself that I have permission to tap deeper into my intuition. I have permission to find deeper insight and greater value in my psychic gifts. And literally just acknowledging that I have permission to grow, saying it out loud to myself, doing little symbolic things that represent giving myself that permission, it really did shift things for me. It has already opened up realms of possibility. Like, I haven't done anything new that I didn't believe was possible yet. That will come. But I find myself in a position of a lot more ease. Like, I'm able to tap into intuition much easier. I'm able to hear, like, clairaudience is something I've been developing for a while, but only under very unique circumstances could I get it right. Now it is not so difficult for me to tap into it at will. Yeah, basically just tapping into the energy, into the energetic realm, the psychic mystical realm, is now easier. Like, there's no more veil. In the past, I had to open a veil. Now when someone's telling me about their dream, I immediately know what the dream is telling them. I don't need to part the veil and think about it and contemplate and meditate on it anymore. It just comes. So just acknowledging to myself out loud, you have permission to do more than you are doing currently, it's a potent move to take. It's a potent step to take, to just verbally give yourself permission. All in all, the psychic development course, it's finished now. All in all, I didn't really learn anything new through it, but I did get the opportunity to do ritual and practices together alongside other people. So I feel like that is actually where I got my value. That's actually where the value was in that course. It was doing practices and having regular check-ins with other people. Welcome back, Anu. Manish is thinking about you. I don't know. That's Manish's business. Let's leave it up to him. Okay? Let's not go digging into his mind without his permission. Okay? Maybe you have another question. Six of Cups. So 6 is a number of breaking past your limits, doing more than you could do before. This is by learning through the examples of others. And Cups is about your creative expression. So this is just saying, dive into your creative abilities, because there are people around you, old relationships, new relationships, and groups of people who are artists, who are musicians, who are sculptors, who are creative, and you can learn from them, and you can find a whole world of value if you dive into that and you actually pay attention to what the other artists in your life are doing. You can find a lot of value there. They can inspire you and give you ideas and help you overcome any limitations you've previously been facing. So 6 is also about relationships. It's very much about relationships. Not always about romantic relationships, but in the case of Cups, I'm going to say it is romantically related. And I don't know if you're in a relationship with Manish currently, Anu, or if you broke up with him already. I'm not sure. But this card says if you are in a relationship with him, he is there to teach you something. He's there to give you a piece of the puzzle that you didn't have before. And you are there to give him a piece of the puzzle that he didn't have before. So whatever difficulties or struggles you're facing, overcoming it, that's kind of the point. Breaking through those obstacles is kind of the point of the relationship. But if you have already broken up, then you've already learned your lesson and you should move on. You should move on into new relationships. Because the value for you, the piece of the puzzle that you now need, exists elsewhere in other relationships. Rusty says, I think I come here because your talk triggers all my non-mystical aspects. It's like tons of pop-ups popping up, hearing you say things like that. What was I talking about? Shit? What was I talking about earlier? Your relationship is over. Well, in that case, Anu Chaudhary, this card is saying to you that you've already learned what you needed to learn from that relationship, and it's time to dive into the value that exists in your other relationships, your non-romantic relationships. Manish is a new relationship. I'm afraid I'm very confused now, but the bottom line of this is that your old relationship taught you something that you needed to learn. And now it's time to dive into your other relationships, because those also have things to teach you, specifically where your creativity is concerned. I was talking about giving yourself permission to develop and grow earlier. Well, I'm glad that you're getting inspiration, Rusty. I'm glad that like all of these pop-ups and downloads and ideas are coming into your head. Power of belief and intuition, etc. I see. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I was. We'll see, maybe I'll get back onto that train of thought. Maybe I'll move on to something else. So there is one final check-in call for the Psychic Development course tonight. Now. I guess I'm missing out. The check-in was to like hear how we've integrated the things that we've learned in the development course, or how our life has changed since joining the course. And basically I just felt like, so our instructor, or our mystic who guided us, she was very much focused on working through the energy centers in the body and opening them up further. This is something that I do regularly, but when we got past the heart energy center, the connective energy center, the heart chakra, when we got past this point, the work was no longer intellectual. It was very much real world applications. Like moving from here, we move into the voice. That's about communication. Suddenly communications became very important in my life. Saying my boundaries out loud, standing on them, communicating, that became very important very suddenly. So then my whole world became quite wrapped up in applying the lesson of that energy center practically. Same with the third eye. When we got to the third eye, that's all about discernment, self-awareness, and being aware of your own justifications, self-justifications, the justifications that others give to you, beliefs that have been told to you or passed down, being able to discern between truth and fiction. It became a very practical task. No longer was it like I intellectually understand this. Now it was apply what you've learned. And I feel like our instructor didn't take that into consideration in the way she was hosting the course. So progressively towards the end of the course, I had less and less time to do all of these mystic practices, because I was so involved in physical world applications of the lessons we'd been learning. And I guess, you know, I might be late to join the call, but maybe I don't even join the call, but that's the only feedback that I'm going to give on the course. I'm going to be like, you know, my experience was after we passed the heart chakra, then the work became very physical, very practical. No longer was it like this intellectual game of giving myself permission. It was now I had to follow through with action. And I feel like that didn't get enough attention. You were still expecting us to do these affirmations and do these strange little ritual practices, and we had less and less time for that. Thank you so much for the follow. What is that? Madam Maid? Thank you for following. Welcome in. And yeah, so I'm just going to suggest that when she passes this point in future courses, that she take into consideration that certain people might be having a different experience with the work, with the development or the procession of it. And I also want to suggest that when we get to this energy center, the third eye, that we actually try some practical experiments, like gazing into a black mirror or a bowl of black water to seek visions, or trying to interpret dreams, like coming into the space and sharing our dreams and then trying to interpret for each other, something like that. Hashtag rules. Let me give you the rules. The rules are law under love. So love is supreme. Bigotry, exclusions, that kind of thing, prejudice, that's not love. Okay, so here's actually them. Consent is important, number one. You don't say things to people, sexual harassment, that kind of thing. Consent is important. No trying to divine into other people's lives. If you want to give tarot readings or advice, you ask permission. Bullying is not love. Exclusions and prejudice is not love. So basically, just be a human being and not a troll. Those are the three rules. More than that, I do hold myself and my house to a particular standard of conduct, like self-responsibility. That's my highest priority. I must assume responsibilities for myself, my personal maintenance, making sure I eat, making sure I show up for myself first. I can't take on responsibilities for you or for someone else if I can't even show up for myself. And the other thing that I hold myself to, the other tenet I hold myself to, is not to take anything personally, ever. Even if it is directly targeted at me. Anything that someone else might see in me or accuse me of, that's actually a reflection of what they believe about themselves. So it's irresponsible of me to take it personally. So Anu, I feel like you are spamming my chat. I've given you your reading, you don't seem to be content, so I'm putting you on timeout for a few minutes. Spam, that's another rule I didn't mention. Spamming, but that's trollish behavior, just don't do trollish stuff. Don't spam, and yeah, and we'll all be good. Don't spam, don't troll. Thank you very much for giving the rules, of course, of course. Yeah, the bots don't manage my queue properly. Like sometimes they won't register that someone has typed join, so I don't use the bot managed queue. I manage the queue myself, and the bots are there to give you things like links and info. So if you type ! links, you'll get links to all of my socials. If you type ! offerings, you'll get a list of private services that I give. If you type ! VIP, you'll get a link to my Discord server and all that nonsense, Of course, you can join the queue. If you have a question, you can just give me a question. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and draw your card anyway, and probably, just dive into reading it. If you have a question, you can just give it to me at any point, and I'll take it into consideration when I'm giving you your interpretation. Princess of Discs is the card I've got for you here. Am I pregnant right now, or will I be soon? Okay, so Princess energy is all about relationships, co-creation, sex, partnerships. It's all about collaborating in a creative way with other people. And then Discs is specifically to do with the physical world, physical health, physical intimacy, physical home space, physical money, food, that kind of thing. So this card is telling me that you're doing everything right in regards to getting pregnant. You have clear sexual communication in your relationship. You also have a good sexual experience. Your boundaries, your sexual boundaries are in place. It's a safe environment. So you're doing everything right, and for all purposes and intents, this card is basically a very clear yes. Am I pregnant right now? Yes. Or will I be soon? If you're not already pregnant, this card is saying that you most likely will be soon. It's saying that all the conditions are right for you to fall pregnant. You're welcome. Glad to hear it's your favorite card. It's very interesting. What's my favorite card? The Tower, the Devil, Death. I like those cards. The Tower, the Devil, Death, and Lust are my favorite cards. I love the aces as well. The aces. All 4 aces. Especially the Ace of Discs. I like the Ace of Discs the most. It's unusual to love those cards. I know it is. But I guess I associate death with like psychoactive compounds, particularly DMT and other near-death experiences. I feel like death is talking about, it's not talking about like sorrow and the pain of loss. That's not what the death card is talking about. The death card is talking about the treasures that exist on the other side of the veil that we only see when we get close to death, when we go to a near-death experience, or we have a DMT trip, or we're deep in an inhibitory trance, or we come face to face with a lethal situation like a snake, venomous snake. That brings us very close to the spiritual world, the energetic realms that are behind the veil. So that's why I like death. The Tower. Why do I like the Tower? I feel like the Tower gives a lot of strength. I'm not talking about me encountering the Tower in my life. I'm talking about being able to be the herald of the Tower in someone else's life. That's pretty powerful. Say for instance someone attempts to verbally abuse you, and you are able to pinpoint and put pressure on their insecurities and create a tower collapse for them. You know, that's pretty potent form of like psychic self-defense. What was the others that I like? The Devil card. So there's 2 aspects to the Devil card that I see. On the one hand, you've got disagreements where people are belittling you, trying to make you feel small, resistance, trying to sabotage you, and you doing the same to others. It's like where me, say, let's just say I'm Christian and I meet a Muslim. Now I'm trying so hard to convince the Muslim that he is wrong in his beliefs and I am right in my beliefs, and he's trying so hard to convince me, and we get aggressive and we get angry and we shout names and we belittle each other and we try and make the other one feel small or stupid for having his beliefs. That's the negative side of the devil. On the other hand, I could meet a Muslim as a Christian, I could meet a Muslim and we could have a great friendship and a great time, and we could have deep philosophical discussions, and then go home and continue with our own individual practices and just allow the other one to live and let live. That's the devil. That's the healthy side of the devil. And that, I love that aspect. I love being able to see from conflicting perspectives, alternative worldviews, and being able to coexist and cohabit despite those differences in paradigm and beliefs. So that's what I like about the Devil card. I love that kind of energy in my life. I don't like that negative side of the devil, but the positive side, I love that energy in my life. And then the Lust card, building off of past success. That's what that card means to me. It's like I've already come full circle. It's number 11. So I've done this journey from 1 to 10, and now I'm in a better position to succeed than I was last time, because I have all that experience under my belt already. I can build off of my past successes and I can avoid repeating my past mistakes. my desire also motivates me. My lust, my craving for the outcome also is what motivates me to move towards that outcome. So those are the reasons why I like those cards, the energies of those cards. So tell me a bit about why you like the Princess of Discs, Madam Maid. And Satyr Double V's candle has burned out, so that is his release. Satyr Double V has been released from our loom space. The Tower sounds bad to me. She is Venus. She's clever, creative, and powerful. Nice. And then do you apply those same domains, clever, creative, powerful, do you apply those same domains to all the princesses or just the Princess of Discs? Oh, you mean the Empress. I see. Right. Right. It doesn't really matter. Those words that you used, creative, clever, powerful, they apply to the Princess of Discs too. They apply to the Princess energy too. Especially creative. So Anushordari, you've just come back out of being timed out, only to continue doing exactly what you were doing before, spamming with the same message and the same question, even though you've already received your reading. Please don't do it, Anushordari. This is the last time I'm going to ask you not to do it. If you do it again, I'm going to block you. All well and good to have those affirmations. You want Manish to leave his relationship and come to you? Go ahead and affirm that in your own time and space. Not here. The Tower sounds bad to you. So the Tower happens when you have reached, when you believe things about yourself that are not true. So if I believe that I can write a program, this is a silly example, but let's say I believe that I can write a program, but I've never really done that before. I've written a few lines of code for fun as an experiment, and now I think I am a master coder and I can write a program. And then I see an advert for people like saying, if you're a programmer, come and apply and get a job writing this app. And so I apply, and then they ask me, are you able to do this? And I foolishly say, yes, I'm a coder and a programmer, and I take the job. And then push comes to shove, and I can't, because I don't actually know what the fuck I'm doing. That's the Tower. In that moment when I realize, shit, what I've been believing has been false. That is the Tower moment. So it's not really a bad thing. The illusion that I was living under was a bad thing. But when the Tower came and exposed the illusion, that was a good thing. It gives me the opportunity to change. It gives me the opportunity to change those insecure beliefs, those untrue beliefs, and replace them with things that are actually solid foundations for my identity, such as, I don't know, creativity, such as productivity, such as humility, things that are more fundamental. To you it sounds like disasters, mourning, sorrow, and depression. Well, it's none of those things. Yeah, it's none of those things. Sometimes I ask myself, am I predicting things? When I read the tarot, do I predict things for people? Or do I manifest things for people? And I'm often inclined to believe that we are manifesting. We are not predicting. So there is no right or wrong in that case. If we are manifesting the outcomes that we see when we do divination, then there is no right or wrong. Like if you see the Tower card in somebody's spread and you interpret that as disaster, mourning, sorrow and depression, that is real, that is true, because you have seen it and you have said it out loud. You've made it real. So in that case, I try to make myself very much aware and be cautious about what I'm choosing to manifest for other people. If I want to associate death and destruction and disaster and mourning and sorrow and depression, if I assign those things to a card, then who's to say I'm not creating those things for the person? You may ask another question, but I only do one free reading per person. If you're prepared to send a tip, then I can throw you back in the queue for another reading. Ah, well. You'll have to catch me another time when I'm doing free readings. But thank you for understanding. So I feel my bladder is full. I need to go and use the toilet. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go and use the toilet quick. Hey Mitch, welcome in. Hi, I'm gonna go use the toilet quickly. But otherwise, feel free to drop a question and I'll read a tarot card for you. But I'll see you in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Love hearing you speak life into our lives. Thanks, bro. That's bro. My energy really not in the most balanced place right now. Rather focus on your words of wisdom and centering. Many thanks for the offer to read. Thanks, not that's. Here's to support. Okay, well, thank you for joining us, first of all. And thank you for those words of recognition and encouragement. I'll rather focus on my words of wisdom and center. Let's hope that I have some words of wisdom to impart, y'all. Someone is asking me for private services on Discord. I'm just gonna say I'm currently live. Maybe they will pop in here. Credit where credit's due, bro. Thank you so much for your energy, Mitch. To be honest, I'm not feeling that lack of balance. I'm just feeling all this motivated, encouraging energy radiating from you and your messages. Okay, so I'll I'm gonna pull a card for you, if I have your permission, Mitch. Draw a card for you, and I'll interpret it. We're not gonna go with a question or anything. We're just gonna feel into some good vibes from the spirits, right? We're just gonna look for some good energy, some good words of encouragement or advice or wisdom from the spirits of wisdom and magic. Prince of Discs. It's a nice card. And basically the underlying message of this card is endure, bro. Endure. Endure, endure, endure. So the Prince energy is about having to endure something that's uncomfortable in order to arrive at a solution. It's like knowing that only by going through this discomfort can I reach comfort. And so this card is encouraging you to endure. It's like, yes, there are uncomfortable things you have to face right now, but the outcome is more comfortable. The last time I saw Prince of Discs energy for myself in a reading was just before I went on a 10-day meditation retreat in Worcester, the Vipassana Meditation Center. That's really where I learned the lesson of the princes and the hanged man. Like, I was like, okay, so discomfort in order to find solutions and make changes, make breakthrough. But it was only by going to that 10-day retreat and then experiencing what exactly the prince was talking about in my tarot spread did I really understand like what that means. They make you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning there. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you go to bed at 10. The rules are rigid. It's a convent lifestyle. Food is served only at specific times. The food is very basic, bland, underspiced, vegetarian. And if you're not eating, you're meditating. Like, you're not allowed to do anything else. You wake up at 4 a.m. and you meditate until breakfast time, and then you meditate until lunchtime, and then you meditate until dinner time. And then you go and sleep. And it's 10 days of that. It was very uncomfortable, to say the least, but it completely revolutionized my life. Like, the purpose, the intention I set for going there was to break free from addictions and bad habits. Habits of sleeping late, habits of smoking, habits of drinking alcohol. Those I wanted to break. I had already been breaking them, weaning myself off, and then leading up to that I was like, these 10 days are going to be my final stretch to break these addictions and break these habits. And it was that way, but I had to go through that period of severe discomfort. That's the discomfort that the prince is talking about. He's like, at the end of the road there's health, there's breakthrough, but the process of getting there is uncomfortable. So it's about endurance. Your best buddy is endurance through that process. You're saying, not just for me, for all of us, I'm sure. Endurance is key. The transformational process. Almost got the trifecta. So unfortunately that phrase is going a bit over my head. I don't really know what it means or implies. Almost got the trifecta. Smoking, drinking, sleeping late. Okay, I see. I smoke and sleep very late. I see. Well, you know, sometimes I still sleep really late. I try not to beat myself up for it. I try rather to recognize the days when I get up really early, when I get up before the sun rises, and do something like play guitar or whatever. Then I try and focus on the value that I receive by doing that, rather than focusing on the value that I miss out on by sleeping late. And when it comes to smoking, like, the main addiction that I wanted to break was smoking tobacco. I still occasionally do smoke cannabis. I try and keep it occasional though. Resist sleep. It's bizarre. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to tell you about your life or what you're up to, but I feel like I also used to resist sleeping when I associated it with missing out or losing out or oversleeping to be a bad thing. When I was still caught up in that paradigm of believing that it was bad, that's when I would resist it. And the resisting it almost perpetuated it, because then I'd be like, nah, I'm just going to stay awake. Binge staying awake. I'm gonna drink coffee and snort coke to stay awake, and then fucking hell, I stay awake for 24 hours more, 36 hours, but then after that I crash, and then I sleep a whole day away, wake up at 5 p.m. So it's like the more I was resisting the sleep, the worse I was making my sleep patterns and my whole relationship with sleep. No, not about FOMO, more like refusing to allow myself the nurture of rest. Interesting. Part and parcel of my journey, self-love. Okay, so that's a practice for you then, self-love. Please tell me more about your self-love practices and what that looks like for you. So, for me, self-love looks like acknowledging my own limits. In life, a lot of people that I've been in relationships with, friends, partners, family, they tend to expect a lot from me. not at first, but like progressively the expectation rises. Now, I don't want to sound arrogant, but a lot of the time I am more capable than the people around me. Like, if there's an obstacle or a problem, I can solve it. Now, anyone could solve a problem, but does everyone have as much experience or as much expertise? Basically, the bottom line is that people have a tendency to expect me to take responsibility for problems because, I don't know, I'm more capable of it than they are or the next person is. So self-love for me looks like saying, okay, that's enough. I can't take on this responsibility. That needs to be your responsibility. This is the limit on what I have to offer. Communicating the limits of what I'm prepared to do is an important part of my self-love practice. Yes, exactly. End up with people feeling let down and betrayed when you try and set boundaries. And then you were talking about your own self-love practices. I try to give the nurturing to myself that I do to others, but find it extremely difficult. What else do I consider to be self-love? What else is self-love for me? Giving priority to my own projects and my own responsibilities. Like, for example, my garden in front of the house. That's more important to me than the rest of the farm. Like, it's my responsibility to manage the farm and look after it. But like my personal garden, my personal livestock is more important to me. It's a higher priority than the rest of the farm. But now my dad, who owns the farm, doesn't agree with that. He would like it to be that his farm and his livestock and the business of the farm should take priority. So for me, to uphold my own life, my own projects as the highest priority to me, that's a form of self-love. Regardless of what he's saying, telling me it's not good enough or whatever, regardless of that, to give the priority to myself and my projects and my reality, my house and my income, that is self-love. Just thinking about other forms of self-love that may not necessarily seem like self-love. Yes, parental habits and pleasing. Parental pleasing is a rather challenging one. That's where it begins, yes. Yes. Like, people, like every time I upload something, I'll get negative feedback on it. There'll be someone who has some rude shit to say to me. When I upload a video of me playing guitar, or if it's just a drawing that I've done, or if it's just a tarot reading or a card interpretation, there'll be some asshat who wants to put me down for it, and that doesn't affect me. It's not lacquer, but like, that doesn't really affect my energetic sphere. However, if that comes directly from my ex-wife, for example, or if that comes directly from my dad, it's a lot more devastating. To end with us, for us. Yes, I know, like if my dad is telling me that whatever I'm doing isn't good enough or isn't worthy, then I know that that's a reflection of himself. He feels like he's not showing up, that he's not good enough, that he's not worthy. It actually doesn't have anything to do with me. Although I still feel the pain, I still feel the betrayal, I still feel abused, even though I consciously know that he's talking to his own reflection. Be true to you. There is only one. There is a one and only you. Thanks for that encouragement. And of course you're healing by talking about it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for receiving. Oh, Rhonda, welcome in. It's difficult to stop a family cycle like that. Something taught unconsciously from one generation to the next. Yeah. You know, it can only stop within me. It can only stop within us. I saw a meme, well not a meme, but it's like a little art piece that goes around on social media where there's like generations of dads yelling at their sons, telling them that they are failing, that they are a failure, that they're useless, worthless, or whatever. And then you get to the most recent generation is a dad who has got a mirror behind him. So all that negative curses is coming down from generations. It's ending with him. He's holding it back, and he's saying the opposite things. He's saying encouraging things to his own son. And like the message of that art piece is that it is always with the individual to change, because those voices that we hear in our mind, like my inner voice and my inner critic, is very much influenced by the way my parents criticized me growing up. And it's very easy for me to unconsciously allow that inner critic to start criticizing the people that I love, my partner, my daughter. Yeah, the power resides with me not to do it. We are the generational curse breaker generation, hun. I mean, so we are. Remember, it's also genetically encoded in us, so we need to literally recalibrate. Tell me more about this recalibration process, because I know, like, I have perpetuated curses that have come through my generations onto my daughter. I know I have done that. Like, in the moment I don't see it, but in hindsight I look at it like, fucking hell, I allowed that to come through. But then there are also other places where I know I've distinctly broken patterns that have been there. So tell me more about how you define this recalibration. My experience can help you expand your worldview and paradigm, and your experience can help me expand mine. Through our own changing, we shift their coding. That's an interesting statement. It reminds me of a little lesson that the universe was teaching me a while ago. You know, when someone comes at you aggressively and they say something aggressive, it comes out of a feeling that's in the body. It's somewhere here, usually in the heart and stomach area. It's like this sick, tense feeling, and it comes out and it gets expressed. And then it bounces off of me, like if it's being directed at me, it bounces off of me, and I feel that exact same feeling. Thank you very much for the follow. What is that? Tarotica. Nice name. Very catchy. Welcome in, by the way, and thanks for the follow. Where was I? Talking about how that feeling impacts me if it's directed at me. Then I feel the same sensation, and immediately I want to say something vengeful out of that same sensation, and it bounces back and forth, this negative sensation. And if it's directed at me, and I feel it, and I allow it to pass over, and I choose to say something that is not inspired by that feeling, so I feel this vengeance that has come at me, I feel it, and I wait for it to pass, and then I say something loving. That goes back to them. They feel that sensation of love. Whatever they were feeling, that thing that was building up that inspired them to say something hateful, is now gone. If they want to continue being hateful, they have to deliberately tap into that hateful energy once again. So like you said, when we change, if I shift it, it shifts for them as well. And from that moment onwards, they have to make a conscious decision to step back into it. Hi, nice to meet you too. Thumbs up. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining. If you want a reading, my queue is open. Just go ahead and let me know that you'd like a reading and I will read for you. Mitch says, by catching ourselves in the moment or acknowledging it and thanking the emotion and releasing it and then changing the response and coding pattern. Bingo. Literally a very technical description of what I was describing. Then discussing the incident and talking it through, thus raising their emotional intelligence. Tarotica says, same here, I do also readings. EQ, emotional quotient. What does that word mean, quotient? So Tarotica, that's really great to hear. I'm gonna actually just like follow you through onto your channel and check out what you're doing there. Maybe I'll probably follow you. I'm gonna go and have a look. Excuse the moment of feedback. On Instagram and YouTube, sure, you're welcome. So you're on Instagram and YouTube, you say? Not on Twitch. I'm trying to figure out how to get to your channel from like my chats. Used to be a little more simple than this, wasn't it? I used to be able to click on this little cool thing that said view channel. Ah, you're new, you're trying to incorporate Twitch. Nice. Yeah, I'm not gonna bash Twitch. I almost did, but I'm not gonna. Emotional intelligence, same thing. Okay. Quotient means like capacity then, I guess. Like emotional capacity. Like IQ but emotional. I see what you mean. Yeah. I've heard of people talking about the difference between IQ and EQ, and there's another one. There's IQ, there's EQ, and then there's one more that I forget now. Yeah, Twitch, I was about to bash Twitch, but I'm not gonna. Decided to like not. Basically, the only thing that was coming to my mind is that Twitch has been where the slowest growth. The slowest growth has come through Twitch. Like Facebook and YouTube have grown twice as quickly as Twitch since I started. I started them all at the same time, so yeah. The thing which I really love about Twitch is the raid function, is the ability for like communities to support other communities. That's what I really like about Twitch. And as you can see, I'm not affiliated despite being here for a year, despite meeting all of the requirements. I have chosen not to affiliate myself because I don't want to share my income with Twitch. I'm not going to share my income with Twitch. I'm not prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to have videos on my ads on my videos on my ads, lol. Lol, Twitch is new, I don't know how to live here. I don't know how to live here. I know what you mean, you don't know how to live here. But live here, I like the way that sounds. Stream, yeah. So what is your handle then on YouTube? Okay, I'm going to type in your handle on Twitch directly. Tarotica 2, because they're not letting me go directly to your page, so I'm just going to use your handle. See if that takes me to your page. Tarotica 2. Yes, that worked. following, turning on notifications. Bingo. Vivid Dream Art, welcome in. How much is a reading? So readings, 1 card reading is free. If you would like 3 cards, then just send a tip any amount. I do 6 card readings for my VIP members only. You can type !VIP to find out more about how to become a VIP member. Rhonda W says, I usually watch on Twitch as NittyKitty2932. Yes, I am aware. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, I remember you sent me a little tip last time from your Twitch account, and yeah, just by the way, your tips add you to the giveaway. Like, I'm sure you see the description on YouTube says there's a giveaway going on. That's a giveaway for custom art. So when I reach my goal and I get my laptop, then I'll be doing a giveaway for a custom art piece, and anyone who has helped me reach that goal, everyone who has sent tips, goes into the draw. It's going to be a random draw. We've got like 5 names in the draw so far, and you're one of them, Rhonda. Tarotica says, tell me about you. Are you a psychic also? I'm curious. I would say so. You know, I try not to use labels and try not to associate myself with labels, because I feel like labels do nothing but limit us and hold us back, put us in boxes. But the word psychic describes me well. I prefer the word mystic. I like the word mystic, I like the word mage, I like the word sorcerer, but I try not to use them too much. I try and stick with mage, because it's not, sorcerer is more edgy, so I try and stay away from it because it's edgy, and I'm not trying to reach an edgy audience of Satanists. And so I use mage because it's cool, it sounds fantastic. Mystic, I like that a lot, it feels very practical. Dream interpretation, divination, those are like my specialties. I have been doing healing experiments recently, like tapping into my Reiki. But typically divination, and that's like not just with this one. Vivid Dream Art, thank you so much for considering the PayPal donation. Basically, just type the word, just type ! Tip, and then you'll get a link to my PayPal to do a donation. It'll come up on screen. Tarotica says, I also do healing, and Mitch S says, lol, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Yes, I like that. I love that a lot. A rose by any name would smell just as sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna drop that link into the chat for you, Vivid Dreams. ! Tip. Tarotica says, wow, we should collaborate one day. So I'm very particular about who I choose to partner myself with. So we'll have to get to know each other. If you're serious about like partnering or whatever, then please join my Discord server. Share me your link so I can check out what you're doing. We can chat regularly. Get involved with my community, and I'll get involved with your community, and we'll see if we can actually work together. So there you go, Vivid Dreams. As you see, when I type in ! Tips, tip, then Streamlabs bot responds. Teamwork makes the dream work, and gives you a link to my PayPal. Like you're asking me, is it possible with a PayPal donation? That is the only way that it's possible. Tarotica says, I feel calm now. Yeah, get to know. I'm worried with many psychics, but you are damn cool. Thank you. Do you have YouTube channel also? Yes, Tarotica too. I'm currently streaming on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. All 3 simultaneously. I used to stream to 6 platforms. In the beginning, I was streaming to all the available platforms. LinkedIn, Twitter, all of them. But LinkedIn and Twitter never grew. They stagnated. They stayed. Like nobody watched this channel. Nobody followed the channels. no matter what I was doing on those platforms, it didn't grow. So I cut them out. I was like, they're actually just slowing me down. They're bogging me up. I was almost at a point where I was ready to cut Twitch out as well. I felt like Twitch was also slowing me down. But yeah, in the end we've got these three, Twitch, Facebook and YouTube. They've been growing nicely, so yeah. Worked. The soul is beautiful. Thank you, Mitch. Very kind words. Okay, so Tarotica and Rhonda and Vivid Dream, if you guys are interested in getting a reading, 1 card readings go for free, so just let me know. Oh, did we just get another follower? It was a donation, a $10 donation from Vivid Dreams. Okay, so Vivid Dreams gets priority. Vivid Dreams gets 3 card spread. Nice, very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna just wait a moment because I know how it works on the phone. You've got to leave Twitch to go to the Streamlabs website and do the thingy-majig. And give Vivid Dreams a moment to get back into the chat. By the way, Vivid Dreams, your donation gets you added to my raffle, gets you added to the giveaway draw. When that bar is full, you know, don't know how long it's gonna take, but when it's full, then I will draw out, like last time I did a giveaway, I gave away a tarot deck. This time I'm gonna give away an art piece. Yes, Tarotica, send me a link to your Instagram and I will follow you there. What's your handle? I'm back. Welcome back, Vivid Dream. So as I was saying, your donation, thank you so much, by the way, it'll add you to the draw. Like every now and then I give a little bit of incentive to help with the, just some incentive. I'm giving away custom art when this goal is full, 555, and I will draw a name out of a hat. My Instagram handle is QYR097. QYR097. Okay, so Vivid Art, your tip gets you priority, so you're first to get a reading out of those who are potentially in the queue, and also 3 cards. So if you have a question, you can ask it, but otherwise I can read general, do general spread and general interpretation. Princess of Wands has turned itself over, so I'm going to include it. Eight of Wands. Queen of Wands. All these cards are reversed here. I'm now following you, Sister Otica. Awesome. Awesome. So, Vivid Dreams are just giving you a moment to choose a question, if you have one. It's not essential. Okay, so I'm following you back now, Tarotica 2. It was nice to meet you. I need to go. You too. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. We'll come and join one of your Instagram streams one of these days and get a reading from you. See how your community works and how you do things. Anyway, now I'm going to dive into Vivid Dreams reading here. So the first card that came up here was the Princess of Wands in reverse, and this Princess of Wands, it is saying that you're clinging on to fear. So there's like a new thing that you want to start, like a new journey. You want to break old cycles, old patterns, and step into like a new reality, new way of doing things, new lifestyle, new habits, healthier, better. But there are fears of failure, there's fear of the unknown, there's these niggling anxieties that kind of hold you back from really leaping forward into that. Those fears are based in the past. They are fears from past experiences, like a relationship or a friendship or an employment situation that you were in that went badly. So there's fears that you've developed that are attached to that. This card wants to say to you that those fears don't exist in the present anymore. They are not relevant to your present anymore. This tiger here has its tail wrapped around the princess's head. I don't know if you can see it. Around her neck, there's a tail wrapped around her neck. But that tiger is dead. She's lugging around this corpse of a tiger. So that tiger is a symbol of fear. It's saying that the fear is from the past. It is a deceased fear. And you are only hanging on to its corpse. It's no longer living and no longer actually has any role to play in your life. When we get to a princess card, it's time to let go of that dead corpse. It's time to free ourselves from it and follow our intentions, follow our intuition, the flame, the lantern of our own inner light, our own inner guidance. But this card is reversed here, so it's indicating to me that you don't want to let go of the tiger, the dead tiger. Every time you think of stepping forward, you're like, but what if? There's still this fear to worry about, even though that fear is actually irrelevant. Now, this card is also the number, it's the 14th card of the Minor Arcana. So the number 14 is also relevant here, and the number 14 is about relationships. Wands is about fire, intentions, passions. So I'm going to say that this is a romantic relationship that it's talking about here. And basically it's saying that within this romantic relationship there is a lack of flexibility and a lack of compromise going on, where you are reluctant to make space for the partner, or the partner is reluctant to make space for you. So if I go shopping, right, I have certain ideas on what's important and what's a priority. I have a budget and I buy what I consider to be a priority. And then I come home and my partner is pissed off at me because I didn't buy anything that she would consider to be a priority. That would be a lack of flexibility. That disharmony that's created in the relationship is a result of a lack of flexibility, a lack of good teamwork. So this card is encouraging you to work on your teamwork, and it is saying to you that the fears that you have, the anxieties that you have, are based in past experiences. They're actually not relevant to you in the present, so you can actually step forward. Whatever you're afraid might happen can't happen. It's not present anymore. 8 of Wands here. So I see you did drop your question into the chat, which was, what are the tendencies for me in the next 3 months? So this card here is going to describe some of the habits and places that you've come from in the last couple of months. This card is where you are in the present. This is going to talk about your upcoming months. Okay, so past here we're talking about, we've got the 8 of Wands in reverse. So that's kind of going to describe how we ended up in the present. And the 8 of Swords says that the universe presented you with new circumstances, new opportunities, new relationships that were no longer compatible with who you used to be. Like you went through most of your life embodying a certain character, holding certain beliefs, having certain desires and certain intentions. And then in the last couple of months, all of that stuff was required to change. The universe started presenting new opportunities and new relationships, as I said previously, that were not compatible with your traditional way of living, your traditional lifestyle, your traditional character. It required adjustments to your lifestyle. It required adjustments to your habits, adjustments to your character. You had to become the person who lives your desires. The universe was like, oh, you want that thing? Okay, well now you have to become the kind of person that is worthy of that thing. But when that happens for us, it's not always so easy to let go of certain habits, especially if we've grown accustomed to them. If I'm really used to playing video games and now video gaming is no longer compatible with the lifestyle I'm creating, letting go of the gaming habit could be very difficult. And that is what this card is here pointing out. It's pointing out the struggle to let go of certain habits. The universe was asking you to change and shift and adjust, and you were not so willing to change or adjust. The habits that you had developed, you were attached to them. I feel like this card being reversed, the universe didn't give you much of a choice. Like, you ended up having to make sacrifices one way or another, whether you liked it or not. That's what brought you to where you are now. That's what these fears are regarding. Moving into the future with the Queen of Wands in reverse. Once again we have a tiger, a fear creature, but this time the Queen is holding the tiger in her hand. She wields that tiger like a tool. She's seated on a throne of flames. So this card, when it's the right way around and it comes into a spread, it's talking about self-confidence. It's talking about passion. It's talking about, like, I want something, so I'm going to make it happen kind of vibes. That's the Queen energy. Wands, double desire, double passion, double strength. When the card is reversed, it talks about niggling doubt. It's like where you believe you're capable of something, or you want something, and you're passionate about it, and you've intended to manifest it for yourself, but you doubt your capacity to actually get to the destination. And that's what the reversal usually indicates when this card comes up. So what that looks like IRL is when I get into a conversation, IRL in real life, I get into a conversation with someone and I'm telling them about what I desire and what I'm intending to manifest for myself. And then unconsciously I start to try and convince them that I'm capable of manifesting this thing. And what I end up doing is I end up making them feel uncomfortable and I push them away. Because they don't need to be convinced. I'm the one who needs to be convinced. I'm the one who needs to believe in myself and my desires. So this is what is coming up for you in the next 3 months as you're asking, what are the tendencies for you in the next 3 months? That's motivated energy, that's power, that's utilizing your fears as fuel to drive you towards your outcome. It's power, it's manifestation. But there's a warning, it's saying beware of your self-doubt and be aware of how your self-doubt impacts your relationships, because when doubt comes into play, it has a tendency to push us away from the people who could otherwise be supporting us in our dreams. So that is the warning from this card. In the next 3 months, there's a lot of potent manifestation power for you. So whatever it is you desire, you're going to be spending your time manifesting it. Be mindful of your self-doubt, because your self-doubt is the only thing that can sabotage you. It can push away the people who would have supported you, and it can also leave you immobile, where you don't actually end up claiming the thing that you want. And that's your reading. So I hope that that provides you with value, and I hope that that is inspiring. And thank you very much for your support and the tip that you sent. Welcome in, Simran K. Vivid Dream says, wow, thank you. You're most welcome. Simran K, how are you? I'm doing good. When I came into the stream today, or when I started setting up, there was some weird stuff, which is kind of usual. Interferences on multiple levels, like psychic, emotional, physical, verbal, all kinds of interferences like to come up. But we pushed through, we endured, and here we are. Growing, expanding, making progress, changing lives, changing my life, changing the world. How are you doing, Simran? Where are we on our uptime? 2 hours and 48 minutes. Okay, I'll stick around for 3 hours until the 3-hour mark because I'm getting hungry and thirsty. My water's basically up and I need to pee. So I'll hang around for a few minutes and then I'll bounce. Simran, if you're still in the chat and you'd like a reading, just indicate that you would. Anyone who hasn't already received a reading, if you'd like one, just indicate that you'd like one. The 1-card readings are free. The 3-card readings, that's donation based, and the tip are 3 cards. My VIP members get 6 cards and they get instant priority. So you can type !VIP to find out more about the VIP membership. There's a whole bunch of benefits that come with that. I host courses and classes on Discord. That's accessible to VIP members. I host group ritual and manifestation ceremonies. That is also available only to VIP members. Vivid Dream Art is now following. Thank you so much for the follow, Vivid Dream. Much appreciation for your support today. I'm so happy I found your stream. In the past few years, I've had to throw out most of my beliefs that I was taught growing up. I felt very lost for a long time. I see. Well, I'm glad that you found inspiration here in this channel, and I really do appreciate your presence here and your support on Discord and on YouTube and on Twitch. And yeah, I feel the same, you know. In the last few years I've also thrown out most of my beliefs, all of my beliefs in fact, that I was taught growing up, even beliefs that I'd adapted on my own. So when I left home, then I went through like a spiral of choosing new beliefs. I decided I'm gonna throw away Christianity first of all, and I'm gonna dive into witchcraft and Wicca. That was a waste of time. No, it wasn't. I learned a lot, but it was a waste of time in regards to I wanted to learn about magic. That was the worst place to go looking for magic. Sorry, not sorry. I said what I said. Surely there are some witches and Wiccans who understand what they're doing and what they're practicing. But for the most part, here in South Africa at least, all of the Wiccans that I met were aesthetic. They were Wiccan for the aesthetic purpose. They were not Wiccan because they had any serious interest in mystic arts. But yeah, I went through a spiral of different beliefs and I've ended up throwing away all of it. You know, the Wicca, the Satanism, everything, Christianity, everything. Yeah. Now, what I see is that belief is a tool. It serves me in accomplishing something, so I will choose my beliefs according to that. If I need to accomplish something, I will adapt a belief to help me. And if I find that I'm holding any beliefs which hold me back, keep me away from my intentions and my outcomes, I will discard that belief and replace it with something that does serve me. And that is as far as I will utilize belief. Vivid Dream says my ex-girlfriend, she left yesterday. Sorry for your loss, Selah. Is a strong reader and witch too. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. Sharmina, welcome in. How am I doing? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How about yourself? So yeah, lately I'm just trying to stay away from labels. Words such as witch, reader, mystic. I use the word mystic. I use the word mage. I try and stay away from all the others. Christianity only seemed to bring judgment and sadness. I just need some peace. Yeah. 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 I'm from a Christian background. My father is Catholic. I wasn't raised in the Catholic traditions, but I was like raised in the culture of Catholicism. I wasn't expected to like go to church, go to mass. Sometimes I was, like, not every Christmas, but some Christmas. Not every Easter, but some Easters. Not every communion, but sometimes. You get the picture. My mom was pretty fanatical Christianity, but not Catholicism, non-denominational, fanatical, cultic Christianity. So I guess I still kind of am Catholic, as in like culturally, because Catholicism is not just a belief, it's also a culture, it's a heritage. And you know, now that I've gone full circle and I've discarded all my beliefs, I can actually look back on the Catholicism and be like, okay, there are some useful practices like like the rosary. I understand that that's now, like now I look back and I understand that is a manifestation tool. You take your rosary and you erect you put your altar up, you put your statue of your saint there, or your symbol of your saint, of Jesus, of saint this, saint that, or Mary, or whatever, and you tell them what you want. You say, I want this, I want a job, I want a child, I want a relationship, I want a car, whatever it is that you want. You lay out what you want, you lay out terms, you say, I'm willing to give this much in return and to receive that. I'm willing to pray this many times per day to you if you will give me this thing. I'm willing to donate this much of my salary to the church if you will give me this thing. And then you do it, you know, you hold the bead, you say your prayer, you hold the next bead, you say your prayer, you go through the whole list. It's like bringing yourself into a meditative trance so that you can manifest something. Welcome, Corvus Corax. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome in, and of course you can have a reading. I give away 1 card readings for free. If you want more than 1 card, send a tip. Any amount is fine. And then VIP members get 6 cards. You can type !VIP to learn more about that. Also, if you have a question, you can ask me the question, but questions are not required. I can read intuitively. And then, you know, the gutter flux, I forget what it's called now, but this thing. Forehead, navel, shoulders. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. The genuflex, that's what it's called. That is also, it's like a banishing ritual. You enter into a sacred space and you acknowledge this space is sacred. Or you enter into a dangerous situation, you acknowledge, I am shielded. It's like a banishing ritual. Sign of the cross, yes, but it's like has an official name. It's called genuflex. The genuflex. Dude, says Fire Barney, it's been a while. Fuck yes, it has, eh? It's been a while. Fireball Barney is back. I see you went back to the original name. Nice. Fireball Barney is the winner of my last giveaway, by the way, guys. He won the tarot deck that I was giving away. Now I'm in my own apartment for 2 weeks, almost original. Nice. So Corvus says, I've met a girl and I want to know how it will end. Okay. Is that a follow? M. Reddings is now following. Welcome in, M. Reddings. Thank you for the follow. Mitch S says, there is what is known as the Witch's Rosary too. Whoa, what's that one that I see there? Ah, it's a follow. Another one. Thank you. What is it? I can't really pronounce your name. M. Reddings, the way that I manage my queue is botless queue management. The bots don't really do a very good job of it. So I've got Corvus in the queue, and then you. Since you're asking about the queue, I'll add you. I'm Scorpio. My friend says it's Scorpio month. It is. Your friend is right. Although we're about to move into Sagittarius. No, we're about to move into Scorpio from Libra. If we haven't already in the last couple of days. Okay, so this is a 6 of Wands that I've got for you, Corvus. So this card, number 6, is about relationships. It's about evolving past your limitations through relationship. Wands is about your intentions and your desires. It's also about passions, pleasure. So you want to know about this relationship. This card is promising good things for this relationship. It's saying you have been raised with a certain way of looking at the world, certain beliefs. You have culture. You've been given your understanding of what is and what isn't permissible. And this girl that you've met, same thing. She has been raised a certain way with her own worldview and her own understanding of what is and what isn't permissible. Now, through one another's influence, you're going to overcome your previous limitations. You will adapt habits and beliefs from her that will serve you, and she will adapt habits and beliefs from you that will serve her. And there's a lot of fiery energy here. There's going to be a lot of passionate relations, pleasurable relations. Basically, this card says that there's a lot of value for you to receive from the relationship, and there's a lot of value for her to receive from the relationship. So all in all, the card is saying don't worry about whether this relationship is going to end. Don't even worry at all. Just accept the gifts as they come. Accept each day as a gift. Accept each moment that you get to be with her as a gift. Not worrying about the day it's going to end or how it's going to end. Focusing on what you are receiving through the relationship now. And that's basically what this card says to you. It says there's a lot of evolution, personal growth that you're going to achieve through this relationship. And there's a lot of evolution and personal growth that she's going to achieve. Whether or not this relationship lasts forever or comes to an end, that's not really important. M. Reddings up next, so I'm going to just catch up with my chat now. There is what is known as a witch's rosary too, but a witch by definition uses usually negatively associated. However, in the days of the old, the witch was the healer. I always thought that the witch had a negative connotations attached to it in the days of old, and it's only more recently that we have attached the word to healer. And yeah, I didn't know anything about a witch's rosary, but I have discovered in the last few years that all rosaries are used for the same purpose. And though the different cultures they come from, like Islam or Catholicism or whatever, they don't realize that they are used for the same purpose, manifestation. I had to leave the deck at the previous place. I had to get out instantly. My folks saved all my decks so I can go back to England at Christmas to get them. Sweet! Nice. Though I don't define myself by any one way of life, I like to study all walks. Nice. Just wondering, at Kier, think you can do a thing to see if I have a djinn or a trickster, and if so, what it wants. I have been told I do and need to discuss with it, but I just want to be certain. I might be able to pay you today, or I can on Wednesday, or we can do it another time. Of course, Fire Barney. So I wasn't planning to stick around here for very much longer, but things have gotten really busy in the last few minutes of the stream, so I'm happy to stick around. We can pull a one card spread for you, a free one card reading, and ask on that nature. But like, I have a djinn. I work with my djinn regularly. We have conversations, although I don't identify it as a djinn, her, him, it. I identify it as a fairy, but you know, I feel like jinn are the same as fae, just identified by a different culture, a different part of the planet. Fireball Barney then goes on to say, well, in the old days you had white and black witches. That was the only distinction back then. Interesting. I didn't know anything about that. I thought all witches were supposed to be evil people who did wicked practices like curses and death magic and exclusively that kind of thing. Like, I have met people who their only power is manipulation. They manipulate, they con, they steal, they murder. That's their power in life. And like, when I see that, I'm like, okay, that's what they used to call a witch. That's the kind of person they used to burn. M. Redding says, me and my wife have been separate now for 4 months. I'm wondering if she will return. Okay, well, let's do a little spread and find out for you. Fireball Barney says it was an Asian Oriental who told me. Well, that kind of makes sense then. It's interesting. But then the jinn is also, it's a very Islamic, pre-Islamic thing, not even Islamic. Now, that's only due to the stereotype of Salem and the witch finder general, etc. You had healers and apothecarists, and etc. They were known as the hedge, or the white witch, as far as I know. Cool. I've only heard people talking about white and black magic recently, in the last, like, 4 years. And magic is magic, you know, not only at the beginning of the day, but at the end of the day as well. If it has a color, I associate that color with it, you know. It doesn't have color of its own, it's magic, it is what it is. But now, tapping into M. Redding's relationship and love life and experience there. Silla. Prince of Discs in reverse. So this card says to you that waiting for things to get better or enduring is not enough. You're going to need to apply some creativity here. Yeah, the Prince of Discs, he's all about endurance, but he's reversed here. So he's saying that enduring the negativity, enduring the discomfort, the experience of being separate from your wife is not enough. Waiting for her to come back, waiting for things to blow over, that's not going to work here. If you really want to reconcile, you're going to have to tap your ingenuity and come up with some creative solutions. Maybe leaving her cool messages in the mornings, waking up, like sending her a text message, but not for yourself, not expecting a response, sending the message for the sole intention of brightening her day. Giving slight romantic gestures, giving her some kind of indication that you are remorseful, that you are changing, and that you love her. Yeah, this card is saying that you can't just sit at home and continue working and continue going about your daily routine expecting her to come back or expecting something to shift for the better. If you really want that relationship and you really want that reconciliation, you're going to have to get creative and come up with ideas on how you can work towards reconciliation. And that's what this card is saying to you, M. Readings. You've already told her this. Okay. So if this card had to give you instructions, right? The instructions of this card would give is let go of your attachment to the outcome. Like, you don't talk to her as if you are waiting for this outcome or reconciliation. You talk to her because you want to be in contact with her. You send her a message not because you want to have a discourse, you send her a message because you want her to be impacted by your positive energy. Remove yourself from the equation. You're doing things for the other. You're welcome, Emreadings. Fireball Barney says, join before I forget about the gin, 1 card. Nice. Okay, checking the queue, catching up. Yeah, you're good to go. You're good to go. Let's do. On a neutral basis, I have been thinking of you. How are you? Etc. Well, how have I been? Well, my emotional self continues to be a roller coaster. You know, fluctuating rapidly like anyone else with a bipolar mood disorder. But I'm seeing some interesting breakthroughs. Like, I'm drawing the Ace of Discs, drawing my own Ace of Discs, and every time that I work on it, immediately I feel like there's progress happening in my physical world, in my financial world, in my health related world, in my relationships. So yeah, I feel like things are manifesting and progress is being made despite resistances, despite old issues that I struggle with. Things are moving, you know. I guess that's the best way to put it. Yes, I've sensed spiritually speeding up on a general worldwide basis. Okay, so drawing a card for you, Fire Barney. We just want some information from this gin. If there be a spirit, communicate with us, right? 8 of Swords in reverse. So I got a message on Discord from someone who's requesting a private service, and I'm just telling them that I'm streaming. Okay, 8 of Swords in reverse here. So this card is about shifts in your paradigm. This card, immediately I feel, yes, there is a spirit. I don't feel like it should you should use the label jinn. That's a label someone else used from their paradigm. Basically, you are going through changes in your worldview, Fireball Barney. You're going through changes in your paradigm, the way you perceive the world, the way you things you believe about the world and what's possible and what's not is changing. And tapping into and discovering your own familiar spirit, working with your own familiar spirit, your own fairy or your own jinn, is part of that process of shifting. I feel this card is reversed, so using words like fairy or words like jinn or words like spirit guide or whatever, that is part of the old paradigm. Now you're trying to evolve, you're trying to break through into a new, more liberated paradigm. So hanging on to labels and practices from an old limiting paradigm is not necessarily the best idea here. There is a spirit. This card is literally called interference, so I'm going to go ahead and say no, it's not you, it's not part of you. It's a familiar spirit, meaning that it resonates on a similar frequency to you. He, she, it resonates on a similar frequency to you. Like my familiar spirit when I initially encountered this spirit, I spell she with like S/HE, because it could be either gender, said to me that the reason I'm communicating with you or choosing to reach out to you is because I am the spirit of this forest that you live in, and you also embody the spirit of this forest. So that is what is like connected us. That's what's brought us into one another's spheres. It's why you came to this forest in the first place. And so you have encountered a familiar spirit. Using old labels, not a good idea. You're shifting into a new liberated paradigm and connecting to this familiar spirit. The reason you've contacted this spirit is because of these shifts that you're going through. So if you hang on to old labels and stuff, you're actually going to be separating yourself from this familiar spirit, if that makes sense. We can discuss in detail later at some point on Discord. The spirit is very confusing. Okay. I feel like the underlying message of this card is that you are going through changes in your worldview and your paradigm. So go ahead and let go of any part of your labels or your beliefs or your practices that is still attached to the old worldview. Let go of it. Embrace new things, new ideas. Vivid Dream Art sent another tip. Amazing. What do I mean by familiar spirit? So I did tap into what I meant by that, and what I meant was that it's similar, familiar. Like when I contacted my familiar spirit, the spirit said to me that the reason I'm contacting you is because you embody the spirit of this forest, and I am the spirit of this forest. So we are on the same frequency. That's why we're interacting. Welcome back in, Vivid Dream Art, and thank you so much for the tip you just sent. You have now got 2 entries in the draw, and you're saying, is there a chance for me and my ex-girlfriend to get back together in a healthy, loving, supporting and romantic relationship? We will do a 3-card spread for you on that one for sure. Fire Barney said, I know its purpose. It came to help with the doubt, and I've started fighting tooth and claw, I think. Well, fantastic. So you kind of are already communicating with it. Well, there you go. We can chat more about it. Online, offline. You're most welcome. Most welcome. Okay, so tapping back into Vivid Dreams energy. So I'm going to lay your spread, Vivid Dreams, and then I'm going to go use a toilet. And then I'll come back and read for you. I also need to refill my water jug. Tribulator, welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so there's a Princess of Discs in reverse, a Prince of Swords in reverse, and 5 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so I'm going to go and use a toilet, fill my water jug, and then we'll dive into this. Bear with me, guys. And I am back. Okay, so here we are. Princess of Discs in the position of your past. This Princess of Discs is basically saying that the reason your relationship strained so much is because you guys had a lack of flexibility for one another. You also neglected to communicate sexual boundaries. Like, if you were or were not comfortable with something in the bedroom, didn't say it out loud, so then allowing things to happen that made you feel uncomfortable, one or the other, or both doing this to each other, not communicating it properly. And then when it comes to like budgeting and maintaining your lifestyle, like conflicts there, she has her own idea of what's a priority, you have your idea of what's a priority, and those things conflicting, and neither of you really wanting to compromise for the other. Basically, this card wants you to be aware of the shortcomings that existed before, so that you can turn this the right way around as you move forward. You want to reconcile this relationship, then you're going to need to solve that issue. You're going to have to work on your teamwork game and your communication and your willingness to compromise, your flexibility. In the present here, I've got the Prince of Swords in reverse. Okay, what is this one telling me? This is where you are in the present. So the Prince of Swords says to me that you already know what you need to do to improve your chances. You have already arrived at a solution. You have not implemented it yet for whatever reason. You know what needs to be shifted, but it's not being implemented. Swords is all about the realm of the mind, understanding, education, and the Prince is about overcoming obstacles. So it's like in your mind you've already figured out what you need to do. Like, you know, if I, as I was saying in a previous message, if I send her this message or I make this romantic gesture, I can improve my answers, right? I can improve my chances. Answers is the wrong word. I can improve my chances. But are you applying those insights? You consciously know, but are you applying it? That's what this card is saying to you. It's saying that you're not applying it, and that you're going to have to apply it if you want to make a breakthrough. If you want to move towards your outcome of reconciliation, you're going to have to apply all of these little niggling ideas that you have. Five of Wands in reverse here. This is a future card. This is what's coming up. That card is saying to me that this desire, so Wands is about your desires, so you want to get back together into a healthy, loving, supporting, romantic relationship. This card is saying that that's a little bit outside of your reach right now. That's a little bit outside of your reach because this card is still very much reversed for you. You haven't quite figured out your relationship dynamics, bedroom dynamics, lifestyle dynamics. You haven't quite figured that out yet. And so until that's figured out, this desire is a little bit outside of your reach. What it says to you is to take it a bit slower. Improve yourself, work on this, one little step at a time. Getting back together now and having that healthy, loving, supporting, romantic relationship, that's a very big step to take. Take smaller steps until you get there. It's like, here's where you want to be, here's where you are, and if you try and jump all the way, you're going to miss your mark. So jump to stepping stones in between, and then you'll get there. So this card also says that you may not have this relationship that you desire, this healthy, loving, supporting, romantic relationship with this specific woman. You can work towards it because it is your desire, and all of the self-development and all the things, all the ducks that you get into a row as you're working towards that, they will benefit you in any relationship, not just this specific relationship. So if this specific one is what you desire, work towards it. The cards are just saying that you may not find it with this specific woman. You may have that healthy, loving, supporting, and romantic relationship with someone else. But it's still important to work on this, and it's still important to work on this. So this one was your teamwork game. Communicating your boundaries and being flexible. Being willing to compromise in a relationship. This one is about applying the ideas you have in your mind. Like, you see an obstacle, you come up with ideas on how to overcome it, but then do you actually go ahead and apply those ideas? Do you commit to those ideas? This one is saying work on the commitment to the ideas, work on the implementation of the ideas. And then this one says don't push yourself to achieve things that are out of your reach. Take small steps at a time, and then surely anything you desire you can attain. Fireball Barney says the PayPal might take up to 5 days to clear, but Streamlabs said missing payment token, but I had a success email for the payment. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and check my emails, because those Streamlabs might not have sent a notification. I'm gonna check what's going on over there. Yep, here it is. It's from the Unloved Assassin. It'll take 5 to 7 days to receive the tip. I see. Well, thank you very much, Fire Barney. And thank you very much for the dream. Much appreciation, guys. So Tribulator, you were asking me in DMs if you could purchase a 2-card spread, or you wanted to draw 2 cards. I can draw 1 card for you now as part of my free offerings in the live stream, or I don't know, how do you want to do it, bro? Do you want to do it privately? So Fireball Barney, would you like me to add you to the queue again? Do you want to receive a 3-card reading? Sukis comes, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Of course you can have a reading. Please like the video and follow the page. And I'll give you 1 free card reading. One card free, yeah, what am I saying? What am I saying? I'm going to take 1 card out of the deck and read it for you, Sukis. Sukis comes. It's a 9 of Swords. So, a 9 is a number of self-reflection. Responsibility. Swords is about the realm of the mind. So basically what this card is saying to me, Sukis, is that a lot of your ideas that you've tried to implement have failed. A lot of the goals that you've set for yourself have fallen short. You haven't been able to meet them. Or goals that have been set for you by others, company or whatever. It's also saying to me that whenever you fail to implement an idea, or whenever you fail to reach a goal, then you will look at the environment and be like, it was because of load shedding that I didn't meet that goal, or it was because of that person that I wasn't able to do that, or it was because of this or because of that, looking for places to put the blame. And this card says to you that though that may be true, there are always unforeseen factors in the environment that impede us and slow us down, but only I have the authority to actually bring fortune into my life or misfortune into my life. Only I get to choose if I'm going to be successful or not. The environment doesn't choose that for me. The people in my life don't choose that for me. They can try, but I have to agree with them before it becomes my reality. Like, I might be trying to build my own channel, and the people in my house are telling me, no, it's a waste of time, it's useless, trying to guilt trip me, doing things to sabotage me. But there will always be things that I can do to continue to grow my channel and continue to do what my purpose and my goals are. I have to agree with them before I allow my channel to fail. So this card is showing up here. It's saying to you, look at yourself. You're looking at the environment, you're looking at other people, and you're not looking at yourself. What part do you have to play? What part do you have to play in these ideas that you weren't able to implement, or these goals that you weren't able to meet? What part do you have to play there? Yes, we know about what the environment did, we know about what the people did, but what did you do? And what didn't you do? That's where your attention should be, because in the future, right? In the future, you're going to be faced with new ideas that you want to implement. You're going to be faced with new obstacles you have to overcome and new goals to meet. And if you can't acknowledge your own successes from the past and your own failures from the past, you won't be able to avoid your past mistakes. You will repeat your mistakes. If you couldn't see your own mistakes, you will repeat those mistakes. And if you can't see your own successes, you won't repeat those successes. Does that make sense? So this card, all in all, is just saying to you, have a look at yourself as well. Just have a look at yourself as well. Fireball Barney says, oh, the UK might have this load shedding soon. Lol, hasn't happened here since 1979. Don't know if Scotland will be included in it. Suki says, thank you. You're welcome, Suki, and thank you for the follow. Yes, Fire Barney, I actually heard about that, and it's already been implemented. Well, as far as I can see from like my Facebook news feed, my friends who are in the UK are saying that they're being paid. They're like signing up for load shedding because they get paid if they sign up for it. And I thought that was pretty cool. You know, we don't have that here in South Africa. You know, load shedding is just what it is. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that like the energy crisis is finally taking its toll on the first world as well. I don't know how opt-in it is, or if the opt-in feature was like a thing that they were offering in advance. You know, I'm only going off of posts and conversations I've seen on social media. I didn't actually read any news about it. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 cards for you, Fire Barney. Just gonna lay them out and see what they say. Not gonna ask any specific question. If it's relevant to the familiar spirit, then it is. If it isn't, then it isn't. We'll see. Don't overreach, you say? Very well. I shall not overreach. I shall not overreach. I shall only reach what is within my reach. They're releasing the next episode of The House of the Dragon tonight. Looking forward to watching it. I've seen all the others. Finally caught up with it this week. It's pretty cool. I don't like the fact that it's very centered around the royalty. You know, like Game of Thrones was very broad, royal, middle class, lower class. It showed us the whole dynamic. House of the Dragon is like a royalty drama, and that's a little bit but hey, it's still good. 1, 2, 3. What in the world? My name is Muhammad from Tanzania. My email address. Welcome in, Luciferin Msumai. Your name is Muhammad. Welcome in, Muhammad. Thank you for sharing your email address, though I don't know why I would use it. You haven't bothered with it yet. Game of Thrones was great, but I got bored after the 2nd season. Lol. I see. I only got bored. Did I get bored with Game of Thrones? I got bored with like season 6. That's where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Season 5, season 6, I was like, yes, guys, what are you even doing? Okay, so this 8 in the past position here. Past position 8 is reversed. So I very much feel this card is linked to the move that you've been through. It's an adjustment card, changes, shifts. This card, it wants to affirm what I was saying earlier about letting go of the old. So you've been through not only a paradigm shift, like a worldview shift, but also a physical shift where you're no longer enduring, suffering the same lifestyle. You've got a whole different lifestyle now. And this card wants to affirm that whatever aspect of your old lifestyle that you left behind in England, you should leave it behind. Whatever, that whole lifestyle that you partook in England, you should leave it behind you. Everything about your life in Scotland should be a new birth of something new. Number 4 in the present, the Emperor in reverse. This card talks to me about self-discipline. It talks to me about routine and structure, daily life, daily structure. It's kind of saying to me that whatever you want to create for your future, the secret of your future resides. I don't know why I keep using the wrong words today. It resides in your present routine. It resides in what your priorities are today. It resides in what your schedule looks like, how disciplined you are within that schedule. That all defines where you're going to find yourself in the future. What else do I see in this card? I see male influences. I see friends, role models, friends who are role models. I see your father. I see someone who sits at a desk at Home Affairs or whatever, wherever you have to go to deal, unemployment officers, whoever you have to go to deal with in that government sphere. They are forming like role model archetypes in your life. This friend that I'm seeing, this management officer official, and your father, and they place certain expectations on you and certain standards on you that are not authentically you. Certain conditions. They're like, we will give you support if this, if that. And those conditions are not authentic to you, and these are things that you're dealing with in the present. So if I'm looking at this adjustment card again, then I look at this card, it's saying if the expectations or the conditions or the standards that are being placed on you by your father, by your friends, by these government officers, if they are expectations and conditions that existed in England, leave them in England. If they are new conditions or new expectations, entertain them for now, because they are probably there to help you fit yourself into a healthier routine. But if it was there in England, leave it behind in England. 7 of discs in the future here. What do I see with this one? That is about material wealth and about physical health, material abundance. So there was an idea that you pitched to me about a traveling gypsy. I'm only bringing that idea up because of the offerings you wanted to provide, your mystic services. You had little crafts in mind that you wanted to create. You also have a Twitch channel, though it has been dedicated to gaming for a while. In England it was dedicated to gaming. In Scotland it should be dedicated to something else, something that's more aligned with who you are. And Yeah, I feel like this card is saying use the ideas that you've already implemented, things that you've already been nurturing for a while. Like the idea of creating your crafts and providing mystic services. That's something that you have nourished in the past, and you can continue to nourish it. You don't have to throw that away. It'll change. You won't do it the same way you did in England, but you should continue to water those seeds so that they don't die. You should continue to grow your channel so that it doesn't go to waste, but not doing it the same way that you did in England. It's only been 2 weeks. I'm not settled yet, but I'm worried that will become an excuse. So that's what this card is saying, essentially. It's saying be mindful that you don't get stuck in that place of choosing what you're going to do. But your crap laptop can't even stream. Ish. Is that the one your dad gave you? It'll take a few months to afford an upgrade, yeah. Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. This laptop streams. It can stream, but the other day it was a hot day because we're moving into summer. It was a hot day, and then I saw messages that were coming up saying encoder overloaded. I was like, shit. What is it going to look like when we hit midsummer? Definitely need to upgrade my laptop. Yes, streaming with your phone is definitely a possibility. I'm currently using my phone as a camera. So there are limitations to streaming on the phone, like I can't have my background music. I can't have those elements that come up on screen when someone donates or follows. I guess I could. There might be ways to do it from the phone, but everything I have set up here is set up to work with the laptop. And the donation goal, background music, multiple cameras, all that kind of thing is, you know. I need to find a specialist to upgrade the RAM. It's a closed unit Lenovo ThinkPad. This is a fucking Lenovo ThinkPad as well. Fuck yeah. Although this is not a closed unit, it has all kinds of modular ports on the back. Upgraded by someone who knows how. I can use my phone, but that's the main issue, yes. Yeah, you could use your phone, and also you could do some research videos, watch some YouTube videos on how to install RAM into a closed Lenovo ThinkPad unit, but yeah, I guess it is risky if you've never done it before. And if the Lenovo ThinkPad is the only laptop you have, you know, don't want to make things worse. I've been thinking about spiritual fairs, etc. once I'm settled and stuff, like my mentor did. Nice. Mine is an A12 98,000p. I don't know. This one says Enhanced Experience 3. That's all that says on it. T413. There we go. T413. I see. Yeah, it might be a bit better, but it's still, you know, it still has a lot of limits. Like when I'm video editing, I can't watch my preview. So this is a bit frustrating when it comes to like music videos where I already have the audio of a guitar playing, and then I film myself playing the guitar, the same chords, listening to it, but then trying to sync it up is almost impossible because I can't watch the video while I'm editing it. Very frustrating. And yeah, also with the stream, as we saw the other day, streaming on 720 pixels in the heat, it can't cope. So if I had to try and upgrade to full HD, this laptop wouldn't cope. But the reading nail on the head of everything, fuck yes, nice. Lol, Luciferian dude, Muhammad, please don't spam the chat. You're welcome to hang out here and listen and communicate and get a reading and talk about your beliefs, but don't spam. Mine's a refurb anyway, okay. Second hand, refurbished. But hey, it's 7:15 and I've been online for 3 hours and 45 minutes, so I'm gonna bounce now, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Rhonda, Fire Barney, Vivid Art, Vivid Dream, Mitch. Good night, Mitch. Sleep well. And you too, Nice catching up with you too, Fire Barney. And you're most welcome. Thank you, guys. Gonna go and what was I even gonna say? Gonna phone my little girl, gonna phone my daughter and see how she's doing. Chat with her. We'll try and stream tomorrow, but I might get preoccupied. We'll see. Much care and love to Oz. I'll give my love to Oz and to Jay as well. That's a joke. Jay and Oz, the two wives of Ariman. It's a joke because the one time me and Aziza and my sister, we all went to a trance party and then we were like walking around and we introduced ourselves and it's like, I'm Karim, this is Aziza and this is Joe. It's like Jay and Oz and Ariman.
Just to let you know, baby, it's going to be load shedding at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ending the stream now.
Okay, perfect. Yay.
Bye bye. Keep going to the wrong place to end the stream. No, I'm in the right place. Okay, bye for real this time, guys. Bye for real.